You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am. There are flying saucers.
Supposing they're Martians or something in there.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm Asherz, and this is...
Cassie.
Cassie, welcome to the On Wednesdays We Talk Weird show. You probably know this show more than I do, honestly. You listen to it a lot.
I do, every Wednesday on my drive to get my children an hour and a half away.
Cassie would text me if there's not a show, and she's like, where's the fucking show this week? And I got nothing to do. And I do. I always feel bad. I'm like, I got to put something out for Cassie. She's got to have it. So right. I don't know what you're going to listen to this week. Sorry. I mean, you could still listen to this.
I don't like listening to my own voice.
That's tough. I'll have Nate put on like a filter or something.
That'd be so funny.
You can have like the mysterious anonymous person voice from like an Unsolved Mysteries character. Anyway, yeah, everybody, Cassie's here with me. I talked about Cassie a little bit last episode. We'll get into a little bit more as to why, because we're doing stuff together. We're going to be doing
you talked about me a lot last episode. I felt special.
Yeah, I did. You're welcome. Anyway, before we get there, how was your weekends?
It was pretty good. You know, I played my tabletop role games all day Sunday with my friends that come over, and went to the gun range Saturday with Adam. And
you and Adam, huh?
Yeah, me and Adam. He's still like rocking the Catholic thing, going to people's houses that the Catholics won't touch and getting rid of their demons.
Oh yeah, so, Adam, the miracle exorcist.
No, I didn't do any of that, but shout out to Tobias. We remember you.
Did you see that he's doing Tobias? For people that don't know, I guess Tobias is doing a weekly upload of like how his week was and like talking about his weekend and his nerd games. And I fucking love that. I think that's so wholesome.
Yes, I have to go find that now.
Yeah, go follow Singular Tobias on Instagram. That's where I saw the one. I was like,
I'm gonna do that.
Like, you need to keep doing this. Like, I love this. But anyway, so what did you do? You didn't do nothing?
So we had a lot of people go back to college and like the army and stuff at work. So I picked up Sunday. So now I work 6 days a week. But I can say that yesterday I went to work, and as soon as I got home, I started rolling out the fabric and cutting dozens and dozens of Mothman to stuff this week and sew together for the Mothman Festival.
I love that. So you worked a lot.
Yeah, I worked a lot. I always work a lot. And then I realized like 2 weeks after the Mothman Festival, I have my first Halloween show, and I literally have 5 paintings.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And yeah, I mean, you're going to have to get to work. You're going to have to make more Mothman after, because you're going to sell out of all yours.
Oh yeah.
At the festival.
So.
Oh, you will. Easy. Yeah. So,
but like Saturday, we have this rental house that we bought, and I went over there and like bleach cleaned all the walls and cabinets because my dad's flying in from Arizona Wednesday to help me finish that house so we can actually get it rented out. Friday I worked. So I literally worked all weekend at different jobs. Some of them I got paid for.
Fair. That's fair.
Right.
I had a very similar boring type of weekend, I guess. You know, I've been adjusting to my new position at my job, so that's been a lot. And then of course, you know, putting out more of these co-host applications and going through them, and you know, that's been that takes a lot out of me, which is great. I love talking to people, but like the problem is that I'm so good at talking to people. You know, like what people don't know about the show is that like before we actually sit down to record, we sit here and talk for an hour. Because I just like to talk, and it doesn't stop.
Well, I personally love it because now I know I won't have to watch Antiques Roadshow tonight with Brandon because we talked for an hour before we started recording, so I've got time.
Yeah, Cassie hates Antiques Roadshow. I thought that was weird. I'm into it, but you know, everybody's got their preferences, so that's...
If it was like once a year, once every 6 month thing, it'd be cool, but 2 hours every Monday? wanting to freaking cut my ears off because I can't listen to that.
No,
it's not the things. The objects are cool. The objects are so cool. The people that talk about the objects are horrible.
I should be an Antiques Roadshow person. I would completely reform that entire show.
Oh, yeah. It needs reformed.
Can you imagine me like looking at like a little Precious Moments figurines and being like, they're pretty cool, but what if you put dicks and boobs on them?
Exactly.
You know? People would love, and then it's like a shot of me like putting little dicks and boobs on them. Yeah.
Like just ruining everybody's Precious Moments dolls.
Totally destroying all of them. I mean, come on, they're not worth anything anyway. Let's be real.
No, not anymore. They're Beanie Babies.
Right. I mean, if anything, I'd make them better. And then I'll go and sell them at my events. Like, here's your Precious Moments.
Right.
You know, Dick and Titties version. Anyway.
They're the antique Labubu's.
Oh my God, they really are. I saw somebody compare them to Funko Pops one day. I was like, yes.
Yep. That's exactly what they are.
Oh, geez. Well,
it's false advertising. Antiques Roadshow is false advertising because that is not Mark Wahlberg.
That's fair.
I've seen Transformers and that is not Mark Wahlberg.
It's just not, damn it.
It's not.
Oh my gosh. We should.
But I'm sorry, go ahead. You can continue now off of my roadshow rant.
No, that's okay. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So talking to people to get, obviously we have to have chemistry. And so that's like number one. So then it's good because then I'll find somebody because we can talk for like 3 hours. And then I'm like, holy shit, dude, it's been fucking 3 hours. I was only trying to call you for like maybe 45 minutes tops. And here we are. And after that I have to recharge and, whatever. And I talk for a living. So, I mean, I talk for 40 hours a week straight. And so sometimes when I get off work, I don't want to fucking talk to people.
Exactly.
And it comes in handy because my sister, for people that don't know, my sister's deaf, has always been deaf her whole life. So I'm fluent in sign language. So, I'll get off work and my daughter will come talk to me and I'll start fucking signing to her. Like, I'm not. We're not doing this right now. But I've been doing other stuff. I've got some really exciting things that I'm going to be pursuing and moving forward with, depending on kind of where my life goes right now. I'm kind of letting the universe take the wheel a little bit. And, I haven't done that in a really long time. And truth be told, it's felt really good. It feels good. So if it feels good, I'm going to do it. That's what they say, right? It feels good, do it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm not ready to make any official announcements yet on anything, but I'll tell you, it's got to do with Mothman. So just keep paying attention to that. Speaking of Mothman, I told everybody last week that you're going to be there with me at the Mothman Festival. That's coming up here in like less than 2 weeks, right? We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. And I still have so much to do.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel like you're just never like this type of it. I don't think you can ever be truly ready for.
No, and I could have been a little more ready if I had like more than a month advance, but I just no, I wasn't.
I got paid on Friday, and I'm like, holy shit, this is my last paycheck before like I need to be prepared. Like I need to know like what I need to get. Do I need to get any more of this or that? I mean, it's coming. So what are you're going to be hanging out at my table?
I am.
Yep, you're going to be over there
all day for 3 days.
We kind of planned this a couple of years ago. I had said on the show at one point that I would never work the Mothman Festival. I would only talk, and you're like, hey, well, if you want to talk, I'll be more than happy to use the table space. And I'm like, so this year, it's finally kind of come into fruition. Of course, I'll have my own.
We did talk about that years ago.
We did.
Okay, these coincidences that we're having are all like
right. That's what I'm saying. The universe is just fucking driving the ship right now. She's got a destination, so we'll see when we get there. But yeah, no, we did. We talked about that years ago. So now it's finally happening. We predicted it. We're psychic,
right? Crazy.
So what are you contributing to the table? What can people find at this year's Mothman Festival from you?
Okay, so I personally will have my emotional support creatures, the Mothman. I made kid sizes now, and I have the original adult sizes. So there'll be 2 different kinds, a bunch of different colors each. there is not room to display all of them. So you just tell me what color you want to see and I will pull it out for you. So we'll have those, and I've been working nonstop on those. And then me and you kind of collaborated on the rest of the stuff that I'm bringing. We have a Injured Cold print based off your version of Injured Cold in your book that you'll be speaking about. Mm-hmm. A Mothman print that we collaborated with, and we didn't even know it. It was telekinetic Mothman print.
It was, yeah.
It definitely was. And then we've got coasters. We put both the prints in the coasters, and they'll be I'm going to put them in sets, one Injured, one Mothman, so they'll be sold in the pair.
So going forward, you guys, you can come to the festival. You can get your Injured Cold book, okay, and get your Injured Cold print and Mothman prints and emotional support creature. And while you're and your coasters, and while you're listening to the show, you wrap your creature around you, right? Cozy up with your book, right? Just so because I'll be touching these books, like I will physically have touched them.
She'll sign them too for you.
I'll lick it for you if you want. Like if I'll shove it in my bra if that's what gets you to buy it.
If you're wearing a vest, she'll peg you too. You better watch out.
Sure will. Don't show up wearing a vest at the Mothman Festival because I'm telling you, it's peg target. Is a vest. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, so you can have my energy there with you while you listen to the latest episode of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird. So I mean, we've got you set, and I've got tons. I have like little things here and there. I've got a bunch of t-shirts that are going to be super cheap. Come check them out.
You guys want a t-shirt. You know you want a Wednesday t-shirt.
We don't have those, unfortunately.
You don't have the Wednesday We Talk Weird t-shirts?
I know, right? People always want them.
But you still want a t-shirt that Asher's like came up with and put together and has still.
Exactly. I designed 2 of them personally, and then the other 2 were designed by other great artists that you should definitely support and wear on your shirt. But come get a t-shirt, and I've got other things too. I'm trying to get rid of stuff on my table and try to make room for more books because there are more books on the way. So help me out. Help me out and come get something, by me, and from Cassie. It'll be a great, wonderful time. And come hear me speak at noon exactly on that Saturday of the Mothman Festival. I mean, you don't want to miss that. I mean,
get there early, walk around, be tired, go sit and listen to Asher speak in a cool place.
I mean, if there's anywhere for you to hear me give my talk about Injured Cold, it's at the Mothman Festival. Like that's kind of the point. So,
and then you could escort her back to her booth and get a book and have her autograph it for you.
Yes, I will need escorts back to the table for safety reasons, and you might be the lucky person. So,
and she always forgets to take pictures. So if you want a selfie, just ask, and we got this.
Yes, I'm so bad about the pictures. I think me and you have only ever taken 1, maybe 2.
I'm just as bad as you are. Someone's got to ask, and then I'll remember.
A whole friendship. I have to make it a point when I go to these things. I have to make it a point to grab my phone and walk around. And even while that's what I'm doing, I'm on a mission. I'm it's time to go take pictures now. And I will walk around with my phone out, with my camera out, and just going up to people, hey, taking a picture. And sometimes it'll work, and I'll just get my picture and I'll move along. Mm-hmm. But then I'll start talking to somebody, and then I forget, and then now I'm tired and I want to go sit down.
Yep.
So definitely, you just come up to me, ask. Absolutely, I will do it.
I will take it for you because I will be right there.
I'm sure I'll be wearing something that looks exciting and fun. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, that's Mothman Festival. I came unprepared today. I don't have any news, but you know what? Cassie,
I do have one.
Has a news.
I do.
Has a single news. So
I try to come prepared for this show every time that I'm on it. Yeah. I don't know. It's just I listen so much. I know how it's all, I know the script for it.
She's like, I know what it's like to be disappointed when there's no news. So I took the liberty.
Right. I already disappointed everybody with not having Roll Game Sunday. So.
I know, right? Terrible. No,
man.
There's been some things, I said that we could probably try to talk about. I mean, if you guys want us to revisit the Annabelle, what's his name? Dave Rivera situation. It's still a big nothing burger. His cause of death was, normal. expected. I mean, it was unexpected, but expected for his condition, his health issues. Rest in peace to him, but just leave this dude alone. Stop trying to profit off of his death, or make a
Leave his
spectacle of it.
family alone.
Right. Like, let the fucking guy rest in peace. And then, of course, there's another UAP hearing coming up. Old Project Blue Balls rearing its fucking head again because we stopped talking about it. We'll see what happens. I'm open-minded. Of course, I want there to be something exciting, and there's always something kind of neat, but not quite there. I mean, again, it's just a big tease, and so I don't have high hopes. But
it's like full disclosure, they say, but then they stop where the information comes in, and you still get nothing.
It's fucking edging, right? Every time they're just edging you, and you never get off, and you never will. So. I'm disappointed with it, but like I said, I'm open-minded. We'll see what happens, and if anything does, of course, you guys will hear it here on the news. But without further ado, Cassie, how about your news?
So, I guess a family bought a home in Arlington, Massachusetts, and discovered a message scratched inside a closet. The home was built in the 1920s, and I guess they've been having like some sorts of paranormal activity. It doesn't really go into detail of what that paranormal activity is, but this was a deep closet. It was 3 foot deep, and it read, "A red river clogs my eyes as I slide down deeper from despair to death." And they said that it looks like it was scratched in with fingernails. Not really sure. The message does look extremely creepy if you pull it up and look at the pictures. But yeah, the lady slept like 5 feet from it, she said, and she found it one day when she was cleaning the closet out and has no idea what it is or where it came from. She thought it was song lyrics, but after her Google search, she couldn't find any matches for the phrase. So it's kind of like mystery. No one really knows what it means.
Do you have any personal interpretations of what you think it might mean?
I mean, I know if I was dying, I probably wouldn't take the time to scratch that into a wall.
True.
A red river clogs my eyes as I slide down deeper from despair to death. To me, it just sounds like a really depressed person.
Like an emo kid?
Yeah.
Just like a fucking angsty teenager. It does. It could be something significant. I kind of have an anecdotal story to go along with that. I dated a guy who did property management, and he was cleaning out an eviction, and the people he evicted, they had young kids, and there was a really terrible message in the closet. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like written in the inside of the closet, where like you wouldn't see it unless you were in there, and it was like it was like a help me message. It was like a please help or so. I mean, it was a little more than that, but it was very sad. It really fucked him up. But kids are also assholes, so it's like it could just be, because I think that when I move out, I'm gonna write messages on the inside of my closets.
See, with this rental house, I'm not going to write messages, but I do have like really realistic, like human bones that I found at these Halloween shows that I do. Oh. And we have to put up drywall because it's a duplex. And for some reason, these people like didn't put the work in, and they put like a lock and key on the door with a 2x4 going across it to separate the upstairs parts.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to like drywall it up so it's an actual wall and not a creepy looking door. But I think I'm going to put like some of those bones in there.
Yeah. You should. You definitely. I mean, I know where you could get human bones if you want to go that route.
I don't want like real ones. I don't want anything like creepy coming into the house. Like I believe in that stuff.
That's fair.
I'm good on that. Because, like, when people move out, I'm going to have to go in and clean it. And I don't really want to deal with that, so.
That's fair. That's a good point. No, you definitely, it's a good idea. You should. You should. I mean, it'll be, even if, like, you die one day and you guys still have the house, I mean, eventually someone's going to tear that wall down.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to find bones, So.
And they're going to have the police come out, and it's going to be a huge waste of time. And I will be laughing. My ghost self will be laughing.
Me too. I'll be right there with you. Like, man, that was pretty good. You're gonna come to my ghost house and be like, it finally happened.
Right. So kids are assholes, and I'm an asshole too, I guess. And I.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it is a weird message. And I don't know how you would know that it was scratched into with fingernails.
Right.
Like, unless they like DNA tested it or something and like found like fingernail fragments, But maybe they did, I don't know. I mean, but why does all the weird stuff happen in Massachusetts? Why is it so fucking weird there, Massachusetts? What's wrong with you?
I don't know, but there is a lot of weird stuff there.
It's I mean, I say it's old, but it's like, it isn't really. Like, it's the oldest colonized area in the whole country. So it does have a lot of, rich history, but it's, I mean, just as old as, New Mexico. I mean,
yeah. And then they have a lot of paranormal weird shit happen there. Like, whereas Ohio, we just have like weird shit. It's not paranormal. It's not categorized. It's just like, they live in Ohio.
Yeah, there was a video of a woman at one of my local in my city in Kettering, not even Dayton, at the bus stop, who fucking had no goddamn pants on, none at all, was like cleaning her crotch and her butthole, like right there with a jug of water.
Wow.
Stop.
I mean, I guess it's as good a place as any if you're dirty. I don't know.
I guess, yeah, at least she washes,
I mean, I'm glad I'm sitting on the bus next to a clean person.
It was something else. My mom and I saw somebody walking around without a shirt on one time, a woman without a shirt on.
All right.
Which is like, free the titties. I'm like cool with that, but it's unusual. People don't normally.
Was this like in the bath salt days?
I think it was actually. Yeah. That was
They
a
just
wild
left
time.
the gas station. They got their salts there.
The bath salts and the K2. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
It hit super quick.
Oh man, yeah, that was a wild time to be alive. It's calmed down since the pandemic, but just it's Ohio, right? You really have no idea what you're gonna come across.
No clue.
Oh well, that's some good news right there. I'll tell you what.
It's the only news, really. I mean, what else do we? Oh, The Conjuring's the #1 movie in the box office. Didn't see it, so I don't know.
Not familiar with the case. You wanted to go see it.
I did want to go, but my husband just chickened out.
I only ever watched the first one. I didn't watch any more after that, and I only watched it because I worked at the movie theater at the time
Right.
it came out. It was free, so.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't seen Annabelle. I haven't seen The Nun. I haven't seen the second Conjuring. I've never.
See, I've seen all the Conjurings. I've seen Annabelle. I've seen The Nun, but I haven't seen the sequels to those two.
Oh yeah,
because I'm going to tell you right now, just looking at The Nun like creeps me out.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it reminds me of The Ring.
Yes,
like The Nun, because it reminds me of the woman brushing her hair.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no correlation there, so I just feel like it's a ripoff, even though it's based off a true story allegedly. But we all know how I feel about the Warrens around here, so.
Yeah.
You can enjoy a horror. I'll say that. I'm not gonna riff on anybody for enjoying those films. You can enjoy a horror movie, like as a movie. It doesn't have to. You don't have to like support the Warrens to.
Like the actors that play Ed and Lorraine Warren are great. They're fabulous in those movies.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And then you actually look at the real Ed and Lorraine Warren, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And I'm like yelling at the real Ed, like, "You don't look like that."
You're right. Not even close, dude. Not you're like these. What? Like you're like, oh man, Hollywood really dressed them up,
right?
So it's just so far removed down to even those tiny details that it's like, yeah, you can enjoy those films without, again, supporting them in that way. And I don't knock anybody for it. I'm just not big into like ghost movies to begin with.
Okay, so that's where we differ. Like,
yeah, there's been like I can't even think of one off the top of my head that I like genuinely enjoy. Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Oh,
good.
It's their what is it? Their 30th anniversary this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're gonna replay it in the theaters.
Super exciting! Wow, yeah, Casper's a great movie. That's the friendliest ghost I know.
It is.
But as far as others, yeah, it's not. I've seen them all. Yeah, I've seen The Exorcist. I don't care about it. It's
that one
boring. Most
didn't
of the
really
time.
get me.
those ones aren't really my thing. I did like
Right.
the oh my god, I can't remember the fucking movie. Oh well, it doesn't matter. The Haunting of Emily Rose, that one or whatever
Okay.
it was. I think.
I did look at this timeline of the Ed and Lorraine cases movie. Was La Llorona was in there? Is that an Ed and Lorraine case?
No, that's a
I didn't
Mexican
think so.
folklore.
Well, that's what threw me off because it was like in the middle of the Ed and Lorraine timeline movies, and I'm like, why is the Curse of La Llorona in there?
Because they just claim everything that they can.
I just figured I'd ask in case I was wrong, and I'm like, what?
Not that I know. I mean, maybe they probably. I'm sure they claim to have investigated and found something. Well, Ed did have. He's got this picture of like a female ghost in like a cemetery, and like
Okay.
that's pretty like allegedly, and that's pretty well known. So maybe that's. I don't know. What the connection is there. I don't follow a lot of their stuff. I've picked apart a couple of the cases. Me and Pat did an episode on them way back when,
Right.
where we, pretty much picked apart the greatest hits and then of course talked about the werewolf exorcism, which I just fucking cannot get over and never will. But yeah, I mean, they've done hundreds and hundreds of cases. So, maybe they have covered that one at some point, but.
Oh, okay. So this says, I Googled it. Posters for the film stated it was from the producers of the Conjuring franchise, adding to the perception of it being part of the series. So whoever made the timeline I looked at did not do their research.
Wow. Well, I still wouldn't put it past Ed and Lorraine to claim that they
Right.
they've had an encounter with her, but that's fair. I guess I'll give them that one just this
Mhm.
once. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, I guess, for the news. Like I said, there's not really.
I did see Weapons. That was pretty good.
Yeah, you were saying that's pretty good. I've heard
It's like
really
a
good
movie that's gonna you're gonna love it, and it's gonna fill you with suspense. You're gonna be on the edge of your seat, and the jump scares are gonna get you, and then the end's gonna come, and you're gonna be so pissed off, but you're gonna still love the movie. It's weird.
Oh, you need to go watch Toxic Avenger. I'm telling you,
I will.
you'll love it. Yeah, you'll fucking love Toxic Avenger. I don't even know if you've seen the original. It doesn't matter. I know you'll love it.
Right, I will. I love it. And the last 4 episodes of Wednesday came out, and those were good too.
I haven't watched that at all this year.
Because I am
I was waiting.
Tim Burton fanatic, so that was perfect. That was good.
I watched the catfish documentary everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah, someone told me about that. I didn't watch it though.
It's still pretty new, so I don't want to say too much.
Yeah.
But I'm loving the memes because it's a pretty big spoiler, right? Who is it?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, check it out. It's pretty good. If
Okay.
you're into that type of thing.
My
it's
one
all
buddy told me it was crazy.
crazy. It is.
Okay.
It's like, what the fucking fuck is going on here?
Okay, that's pretty much the words he said to describe it.
But it doesn't feel that way. Well, I don't know. I'm somebody who watches that type of shit all the time. So I wasn't surprised at all. I kind of called it in the very beginning. I was like, I know who it is. And then, so when it happened, I'm like, I told you. I said that to a room of nobody.
I do that too. Don't feel
Yep.
bad.
And everybody's like, yep.
Yep.
I mean, nobody rather was like, yep, you told us.
Nobody but everybody agreed with me.
Yep. But it's worth checking out. So, definitely check that out. So let's get into the topic today. How about
Yeah.
that? We've got a really interesting topic that I want to get into. I really wanted to talk about, it's even like picking the name of this episode is going to be tough. I wanted to talk about the different type of extrasensory gifts or the different types of divination, or I want to talk about psychics and mediums and fortune tellers and things like that, and like what is the difference between all of those things. And so I thought that this would kind of be a fun episode to kind of break apart a little bit. I did find that these things are typically they're usually called mystics, or it's referred to as mysticism. Like all of those things kind of fit under the umbrella of mysticism.
Okay.
Which I feel like that's still not right, but it's the closest thing. Like when I think of a mystic or I think of mysticism, I think of like Tobias and his tabletop role playing games. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot more fantasy.
He comes in a robe, like.
Oh my god, he so would too, with the fucking wizard hat on and a staff. Man,
Roll the dice. I'll tell you your future.
I miss Tobias. But what I mean is like just more the fantasy side of things rather than like
Right.
in any type of reality. It just doesn't feel like a serious name for this stuff. So I feel like it's not really doing it a lot of justice, even though I'm not saying that, I believe in all of this 100%. I definitely don't. I'm very skeptical of the idea of some of it, but I do buy into some of it a little bit. So, so I just kind of put everybody into different categories. And I just thought that we would kind of go over those different categories. So I'm going to start with fortune tellers. Fortune telling's been around for, since we could communicate together. Fortune telling is a way for somebody to, it's a form of divination. It's a way for somebody to see into the future, tell your fortune. And
my fortune cookie told me that I was going to have financial gain in places I did not know, and I played the Powerball and won $16.
What? That's amazing.
Yes, it did pay for my Chinese dinner the other night. So
wow, but that's what was unexpected. That was.
It was.
I think though it's probably talking about the Mothman Festival, even though we kind of expect that. Well, see, that's how it works. You get it. Fortune cookies. That's definitely one of those things, right? That people kind of buy into. And we've all had a fortune cookie and we're like, whatever, this is just silly.
If I'm getting General So's with my fortune, I'm 100% in. But I am not paying Miss Cleo 99 cents a minute to tell me what's going to happen in my life.
One time when I was a kid, I was probably like my kid's age. I was probably like 12 or 13. Me and one of my friends, we were at her house and a Miss Cleo commercial came on and she was having issues with her boyfriend. So we're like, you should call Miss Cleo. So she did. So she calls Miss Cleo and she got scared and hung up. Fucking Miss Cleo called her back.
No.
True story.
Was it really Miss Cleo though, or is it somebody else?
It's just a woman with the Miss Cleo accent. There's probably 10 of them sitting in a fucking room together in a call center calling different people. Just like a sex line, but fortune instead of sex,
Right, because Miss Cleo didn't even have a Miss Cleo accent. She was not Jamaican.
No, she was just some American woman, like that Lenny Kravitz song.
Yeah.
These are really dated references. I hope that the younger listeners are tuning in. But no, yeah, she called us back. And we still talk about that. Listen, this girl, she was my childhood best friend. We don't talk. We're friends on Facebook. Every once in a great while, she'll message me and be like, remember when Miss Cleo called me back? Still thinking about it to this day.
Did we have caller ID back then? Was that a time of caller ID?
Yeah, yes, we did.
Okay.
And then like weird shit was coming out. So like it was still before you could talk on the phone and be on the internet at the same time.
Okay.
So you'd get kicked off or whatever. So one of the features that we had in my house was that like you had the internet, but if somebody called in, the caller ID would pop up on the computer. So you could like decide to take the call or keep the internet going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like it was very experimental. This was like early 2000s. And, but yeah, we had caller ID. I don't think it said Miss Cleo on the caller ID. I think that like she hung up, it started ringing, and it was like, when your parents weren't there, of course our parents weren't, if you didn't answer the phone and your parents called, like they thought you were just in trouble for not answering the phone. So like she answered it and it's fucking Miss Cleo calling back, and we were like, oh no. She hung up again. She didn't call back again. Oh my God. What if we finish this episode? My fucking phone rings. It's Miss Cleo.
That would be crazy because Miss Cleo died. So
like I said, I think there's like 10 other Miss Cleos, but yeah. I get in the phone. I'm like, who's this number? Hey, it's Miss Cleo. Wow. Anyway, true story. But Miss Cleo, she's a great example of an alleged fortune teller. But I kind of broke it up into categories. One of the categories that I personally subscribe to is, and my Patreons know, tarot card reading. So cartomancy has been around for a very, very long time. It didn't start off with the typical Oracle deck or tarot deck that we have now, people would just use regular playing cards and would, subscribe some type of meaning to those face value cards and then read off of them, or they would make their own and, would read people's, fortune or whatever. I use tarot card reading. I don't use it in the way that it's going to tell my future. I don't believe it's ever going to tell my future, but I do believe that what it does, because I'll tell you, the patrons, they get a monthly tarot reading. So patreon.com/WednesdaysTalk, if you join at the $5 level. And I've never done a Patreon reading where they're like, yeah, that wasn't. Like, they're always like, that's so dead on. Right. And it is eerily dead on. And, but the thing about it is that the magical thing about it is that it doesn't really tell you your future and exactly what's going to happen. It more so kind of brings certain topics to the forefront. And then
focus on them more. So everything seems to come together.
Right. It kind of makes you think about it. And then therefore, you're on that topic, and, the cards, they'll be like, oh, you're working too hard. Maybe you should focus on like self-love. And you're like, maybe I should. And that is it is a very general, right? It's a very general statement. We should all focus on more self-love and self-care. But out of, 72 cards, it's pretty wild that it pulled that one, and maybe you have been working a little extra hard lately, or, whatever. So, I mean, it just kind of, like I said, it gives you some perspective where it's a lot like talk therapy and how that works, where it's just, you talking it out with another person kind of gives you a new perspective on the situation for you to kind of tackle it a little differry. So that's how I use it.
When it's not just inside your head and somebody else is telling you like what they think and their interpretation of something, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a talk therapy type of person. I don't necessarily, like, when I'm venting to someone, I don't really want advice. I just want
talk it out yourself, right? And then hear what the other person has to say.
Yeah, I just want a different perspective on the situation, and so to me that's very therapeutic. So for me, tarot card readings work, because I can utilize them in that way. Now, granted, I do have. I do think that some things are divinely guided. And listen, I wouldn't say this if it didn't personally happen to me. And especially now, was it happening to me a lot lately? Mm-hmm. And so, I do think that the cards that end up being chosen are, led by some other force. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to call it God. That seems a little too undeserving. I say that, it sounds rude, but that feels too big. I don't know what it is. I just call it the universe. The universe picks the card and it knows. And so, I just kind of go with it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I should be focusing on right now. So yeah, I mean, that's how I use it. Casting runes, right? Reading runes is also a very similar thing to tarot cards, except for cards, it's rocks with symbols on them.
I was horrible in physical geology, so like I can't even imagine people actually like reading rocks and telling people their future or what's going to happen or stuff about them.
Well, it's just memorization. I mean, your runes already have they have runes carved onto them, and so those runes mean something specific. And so when you do like a reading, when I do the tarot card readings, it's not like just by chance. It is actually very draining because some of the cards have, and I'm sure this is very similar to like casting runes. Some of the cards have multiple meanings to them, and something kind of, this is where it gets a little paranormal, a little weird. This is why you guys are here. It gets a little paranormal because it's like something takes over, and it's like, this is what this person needs to know. And so a message kind of comes through. It's not like you hear a voice in your head or anything. It's just you have this weird intuition, which is another form of psychic phenomenon that we're going to talk about. But it just, you're like, this is what they need to hear. And so that's what happens with like rune casting. Also, runes especially is it's a lot simpler because it is just a symbol that'll mean like one thing. And so it's kind of up to the reader's interpretation of like what that one thing means.
Is there like, I know with tarot cards, there's like kind of like a page that tells you everything, like what it's supposed to mean. But with runes, like, do you have to come up with it on your own, or is there like something that explains to you what the symbols are supposed to mean and you just interpret it your way?
Oh no, yeah, there's definitely different guides and stuff
Okay.
for what they mean. And then of course
Guides,
different
that's what I was
people-
looking for.
Yeah. But there's like a page. There's like one.
Yeah,
printed
I
out
couldn't
page.
think of a word right off the top of my head. I was going too fast.
That's like I knew what you meant. Well, a lot of tarot cards will come with like whole ass books, like big,
Yeah.
thick fucking books for the whole for the whole deck, and it's like wow,
It's a very thick page.
one very thick page. But yes, they will. Runes will also, you can get stuff like that, different guides and things, and because I'm not good at memory either. Remember, guys, I did a lot of drugs back in my younger days, and my brain is shot. So I often have to consult, different.
I couldn't even remember the word guide. Don't feel bad.
Right. Yeah.
That shows you what my younger days consisted of.
What is it? Rode hard and put away wet. Is that what they say? So that's anyway. So casting runes, tarot cards, very similar situations. Astrology is a bigger one. It's not one that I'm gonna get too far into because it's a deep topic and really
There's so much.
yeah, there's so fucking much. The only thing you really need to know about astrology is your personal information and, your own birth chart and how the planets allegedly affect you. I will follow some astrology to a degree because it always makes sense. It always adds up every time, even though people are like, well, don't blame the planets for, you being a piece of shit and making bad decisions. And it's like, I get that, but like, you can't tell me that every fucking time, fucking Mercury's drinking Gatorade, all this shit happens every time without fail. And then doesn't happen whenever it's done with Gatorade, I mean, there's something to that a little bit. Not that I'm living my life based off of it or anything, but it's a lot. And, people will kind of use it to not necessarily, again, tell your future, but just to kind of gain perspective. Of course, it'll kind of analyze you and the type of personality that you have. And that's not just based off of like your sun sign. You can't be like, oh, I'm a Scorpio, so I'm an asshole all the time, or whatever. Because it doesn't work that way. It's not just your sun sign that makes up your personality. You really got to dig into it. And I just be honest with you guys, it's a lot of fucking homework that I just can't sit down and get into like that. So
It's a lot, and it changes like every month. Like something new comes up. Like it's just you really have to be into it to want to follow it that hard.
Yeah. I mean, I have fun with it, but yeah, I'm not like super into it. Numerology is another one. That one I have gotten really into actually. And, I'll tell you, I got into it because of a post on Twitter of all places. Not just one post on Twitter, but multiple. This page on Twitter, it's called Naked Numerology, and I started following it during the pandemic. And when I did, they were retweeting stuff that they had posted years ago, predictions, and it was like very specific predictions. It was about like different people who were going to get COVID. It wasn't like, oh, so-and-so is going to, get COVID-19, but it was like, oh, they're going to come down with an illness and they're going to be okay. They're not going to be okay. I mean, it was like spot on, except for the exact terms. The thing about Twitter at the time is that you can't edit the posts. So people would do that shit on Facebook. They would be like, oh, look, I predicted the future from years ago because they could go back and edit. You could not do that on Twitter. And so I was like,
that's crazy.
It blew my fucking mind. And I mean, you guys can go check out the page yourself now on, formerly known as Twitter X, if you want to. Again, Naked Numerology is the page, but now you can edit it, so it doesn't seem as special.
Yeah, but if they didn't edit it before, like they're probably still not doing it.
Well, that means that you have to trust my word, so, and you should trust my word, but I get it being a skeptic, right? So, but no, I mean, that's how I got into it. And so when I was kind of reading into it a little bit more, numerology is based off of mathematics, which, let's be for real, our entire world, us being alive and existing, is based off of mathematics.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that there is a little more something to numerology than anything else. Maybe not necessarily in the same way that other people do. But I'm just telling you, this page predicted crazy shit that nobody could have ever known. And here it was. So
there's a couple great movies that have to deal with numerology.
Oh?
Jim Carrey, 21. That was a great movie.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard of that one.
And
Is it 21 or 23?
I don't know. It's
20 something with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, maybe it's 23. And it was great though. But it's been years. It is 23. And it's from 2007, so it's a year after I graduated. So yes, it's an older movie. And then Unknown with Nicolas Cage. Have you seen that one?
No, I've never even heard of that one.
That's a good movie too.
Unknown. Wow.
So I graduated high school. You were probably what, like 7?
I was graduating class of 2009. I'm not.
No, you weren't. You're like the same age as me. Then we're good.
I love that you thought that I was way younger, though.
Yeah, because I graduated in 06.
Whatever age you thought I was, please keep thinking that.
Okay.
But no, I'm a full adult in my 30s that should have her shit together. So I get why you think I'm younger.
Wow, I'm so bad at this today. I have, wow. It is not the unknown. It is knowing.
Knowing the unknown or whatever.
Knowing that it's 23 and not 21. So yes, Knowing with Nicolas Cage from 2009 and then 23 with Jim Carrey from 2007.
Wow. We were both born in not born. We were both graduated in one of those years.
Yeah.
My gosh. Yeah, numerology is really, I like it. Couple others we've got here. Palm reading. I've never been into that one. I'm sure it's pretty simple to get into. Like, how many lines could you possibly have on your palm? But people can allegedly read palms and tell all sorts of things about you. I think that probably there's a higher success rate reading men when it comes to palmistry. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, gosh, you look at his palm and it's smooth like a baby's bottom. You're like, well, you must be single. You're going to die single.
You use a lot of lotion.
Oh, I was thinking smooth, like no lines.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But that is true too. I didn't think about that. But yeah, like he has like literally rubbed all the lines off of his hands. That's not a true statistic, by the way. I just made that up in case you didn't know. Probably.
We don't know.
And then scrying. Scrying is another one. I've never been into that one. Now that one's more like that also is like Miss Cleo because it's crystal ball, reflections in water. Again, I've never really dipped my toe into that one. But again, another form of.
Is that the one that they do like on the Go shows on TV when they're in the mirror? Can you do that through a mirror, scrying? That sounds so familiar to me.
What are they doing in the mirror?
I don't know. Stuff.
They're doing stuff in the mirror.
They're trying to contact somebody through the mirror by like looking through it and focusing on like one point. And like thinking stuff.
I think that's just because people think that mirrors are like doorways to other dimensions.
Okay.
Like there are people. I knew a lady. Another one of my friends growing up, around that same age. Her mom would cover the TV and keep it covered because she thought that like spirits would come out of it.
Wow.
And there's people that like, if they have mirrors or TVs in their bedroom, like when they go to sleep at night, they'll cover them because same thing. They think that it's
also
like
another great movie, and I know the name of this is Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland.
You're gonna look it up, and it's gonna be called like Screens. Or something.
It's Mirrors. I know. I love this movie. Like I know what this one is.
Mirrors. I've never seen that.
You've never seen Mirrors either.
No. I live under a rock. I know. I need to get my list together, bust out my list with all these recommendations.
2008, Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland.
Wow. It was a big movie time during those years, huh?
Yeah, it's when movies like you had to go to the theaters and see it or you'd be waiting 6 months for it to come out.
God, remember that?
Yeah.
Ugh, just hate that. Hate that for all of us. So that's, basically fortune telling in a nutshell. I don't think I really left one. Do you know of any that I did not cover?
Let's see. Nope, you have all the ones that I had.
Okay. Well, getting into this one's probably equally as large as a psychic's, right? What is a psychic is that exactly? You're like, well, so-and-so says that they're a psychic. And what does that mean? Psychics, instead of like predicting things, they know things. And, that knowing can come in many different abilities. I guess this is kind of more of a blanket, for the type of things. And psychics can also be mediums, but not always. Mediums are not always psychics. And psychics aren't always mediums. Mediums are people that can talk to the dead.
Yes.
So they communicate directly.
My research said all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. Because to be a medium, you have to have a strong psychic connection or foundation.
I don't know if I agree with that exactly, but I do believe that probably everybody who says that they're a medium also says they're a psychic.
And that's what got me, because I never understood why people would interchange between those two terms when they referred to themselves.
Yeah, psychic medium, or usually
Right.
that's what you hear, the term psychic medium.
Mm-hmm.
They can be. I mean, they can be both. But that's the thing too, is in mediumship, are they really communicating with the dead? That's where like my controversial ghosts aren't dead people hot take comes in.
Right.
Because is it the dead? Is it something else? What does that look like exactly? So we'll go over the different categories of psychic phenomena and what that looks like. So of course you've got probably the most well-known, you'll hear so many people on TikTok, so many new agers say this, clairvoyance. Okay. So, someone who is clairvoyant sees things, including precognition, which is the future, retrocognition, which is the past, and they can also remote view. So clairvoyants often have like a multitude of gifts, and they see things visually. So they aren't necessarily, so like a psychic, clairvoyants may not necessarily be a medium because they're not directly communicating with the dead in that case.
Correct.
Unless they're remote viewing a dead person, or they are telling the past of a dead person, which doesn't always, it could be an individual level. So like I could be a clairvoyant and I could look at Cassie and I could be like, oh, I know your past, and she's not dead, right? So
Right.
it really depends on what that looks like, but clairvoyance does tend to be kind of a bigger, more popular term and all of this. Some of these I had never even heard of before doing research for the show.
Yeah, there's a lot that like I didn't know which category to put them in, medium or psychic, or both, or
yeah, it's very interesting. So, and sometimes that is the case, which is why, we just kind of jump the gun to mediums a little early, because they, without a doubt, communicate with the dead. Like that is what they do. So yeah, I mean, so a clairvoyant person, again, may see the future, may see the past, may be able to remote view, allegedly. I've never met anybody. Of course, I've met tons of people that, claim to have this gift and have done like readings on me, and they've never gotten it right. Not once, ever. So
does that count as so I've ran into people that said they had a dream about this and then the next day or a week later it happened. Is that like clairvoyance, seeing things not present, or would that be something else?
That may also be claircognizance.
Okay.
Which is basically somebody who receives information. And so this is something that I feel like I've had an experience with. So I can't say it's all bullshit, because some of it I feel like resonates with me a little bit. But like to receive information, you just have a sense of like knowing. So I don't know if like that information came through and they perceived it as like a dream.
Okay.
But I think that it could also be viewed as clairvoyant as well, because they're seeing it play out.
Okay.
But they could. So psychics don't have to have just one of these gifts. They can have multiple of them also.
Oh, yeah. And I would not want that life. Let me tell you.
All the time receiving all this information in different forms. Yeah, absolutely not. And then nobody fucking believes you. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So going down the list a little bit more, we've also got clairaudience. Clairaudience is when they hear messages. So they don't actually see visually like what's taking place or took place or whatever. They are hearing them either in the form of voices, sounds, music. It really just depends. So you may have somebody who has clairaudience walk into, an old-timey bar or whatever, and they hear like the old jazz music playing, even though there's no jazz music playing, except for me outside the window with the boombox.
Right.
But they don't need to know that. So,
But then think of how hard you have to concentrate to put that together to make it make sense for something.
I've thought about this one a lot because it's like, you would think that would be the most confusing, because what if you're like, let's say you're fucking in New York City and there's always noise all the time all around you. How long would it take for you to even realize that you have a gift like that in an area where there's constant noise?
Oh yeah, you're never going to know until you go on vacation and then you think everything's haunted because you're hearing things you never know you heard before.
Right. You're like, wait, because even in your New York apartment, like if you were at home just chilling, you're still hearing all this noise. It's a very loud area, so you just still wouldn't have any clue. I mean, unless of course it's like a voice, like a disembodied voice, that would be pretty obvious, but that doesn't seem to always be the case. Some of the voices can be like chanting or song vocals and like singing and stuff like that. So again, you would have no idea. You'd be so confused. Right. If you ever left. So I feel terrible for them. That sounds really awful. But
that one sounds the worst. Like I wouldn't know, especially living here. Like I hear nothing ever. There are no sounds.
And then all of a sudden you hear something and you're like, what the fuck is that? Weird music in the background. And you're like, what is this?
See, I would rather hear everything than something.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's true. Well, because when you hear it, then you have it at that point when you catch it. But like I said, if you're hearing everything all the time, you'll never know.
Oh, yeah.
So how many people in big cities have this gift and have no clue?
See, that we'll never know.
We will never know. There's also things like clairsentience is how I think it's said.
Clairsentience. Feeling?
Clairsentience.
Yeah.
I must have typoed that because I have sentience. So that, just shows you the type of a researcher I am sometimes.
You type. I wrote all of mine out with my hand, so.
I do. Yeah, I type it out. I do. And, unfortunately, like spell check doesn't pick up these words. So I constantly have to try to fix them otherwise. It's like, what are you trying to say? Clairsentience is the ability to feel energy, emotion, or they can even feel like physical sensations. So like they can feel touch, hot and cold, things like that. So they don't actually have any visuals. They don't have any audio. Well, they can have all of those things, but we're just, in this case, to make it simple for you guys, pretending that they only have this one gift. So for them, they would only feel what's happening around them, which would be very frustrating.
Yeah.
Like that's like being, like that's what I imagine being, like deaf and blind is like.
Oh.
You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, I do know.
Wow. I mean, because you can't communicate together otherwise besides feeling, so when I think of like
awful.
So, right. So when I think about like what that might look like, if you're trying to communicate with like a ghost or whatever, it's like the hand spelling with Helen Keller. Well, I mean, that's, have to figure that out with a ghost.
I just had wow, my boss's little daughter that's 10, she dressed up as Helen Keller for Halloween last year, and it was the funniest thing in the world because nobody knew what she was.
How do you do that? What did she wear?
Just like an old, basically an Amish dress.
And then she just didn't respond to anybody and
yeah.
walked in the walls?
Yep. I said, you're either going to get so much candy or you're not going to get any candy. It depends on how your acting goes.
Was this the child's idea?
Yes. That's what she wanted to be, and we all tried to talk her out of it. I even offered to take her to Spirit Halloween, and I'd buy her whatever she wanted.
She's like, no, I'm being Helen Keller.
Yeah.
love that she's going to grow up into an adult and like have to tell people that. It's going to be great, you know? Like, I wish that was me. Wow. Okay. Well, man, that was good stuff.
Excuse me.
Thank you for sharing that one.
No problem.
Love that for that child. I don't even know what to say about fucking clairsentience now.
Would you consider that like empathy, like an empath?
Yeah, it is. And I've got empath on here, which I have some science to go with it. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. I like to save the science for the end.
Yeah.
But it would. I mean, the ability to feel energy, obviously emotion, right? That's all things that empaths do. Mm-hmm. They feel the room out. They don't do well in crowds because it's overwhelming because, they feel everything. But yeah, I mean, that, like I said, that would honestly be really tough to deal with. On a psychological basis. I mean, if you have, especially with, negative feelings, it's good when it's good, right? So when it's happy, positive, good feelings, that's great. But like, it would suck to be like married to somebody and like, I guess when you're married to somebody, you kind of do know when they're in a bad mood all the time, but you also feel it. So they're in a bad mood and you know it, but it just pisses you off because they're pissed off.
Oh yeah. Like I don't want to say 100%. I 95% think that I am a part of that group. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you are not in a good space, do not come around me because my whole mood will change as soon as I look in your eyes.
Yeah.
I know.
Match.
And like Brandon, if something on his body hurts, and within the next week, that same spot on my body will hurt and I will not do anything to force it. And okay, this is really weird and it scares the crap out of me because I don't want to think too much into it. The day that we had that car accident, so we were on our way to see Derek Hayes' documentary in Coshocton at the little theater they have there, where he's from.
Oh, yeah.
And I was looking forward to this for a month, got off work in time. Brandon got off work in time. 2 minutes before we were about to get in the truck, I'm like, I don't want to go. Something bad's going to happen. He's like, no, you wanted this. We both left work. I was like, yeah, but something's not right. Something's going to happen. We shouldn't go. 2 minutes after we got into the car, we T-boned somebody. And unfortunately, the man passed away. And we were both in the hospital. And yeah, I knew something was going to happen.
But that's all. That is claircognizance.
Okay.
Having that overwhelming knowing feeling, but having no basis for it just because it's your gut feeling.
But yeah, and I felt it. I felt the negativity, like a magnet, just making me want to stay where I was.
Very interesting. Well, and so, I mean, that's, again, a good example of you can absolutely have both. You can have clairsentience and you can also have claircognizance. Whew, it's getting hard to say.
Yeah, I know. All these Claires.
All these Claires. Damn
Actually,
it, Claire.
My son's girlfriend's name is Claire and my daughter's middle name is Claire, so.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed the name Claire. I don't know why.
Right now, I don't like it that much. I got to keep going through pages trying to figure out the different Claires.
It reminds me of Scrooged.
How so?
Because the main girl, her name's Claire.
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know. I think about that. Anyway,
bunch of movie references in this episode. Everybody should write them down and go watch all of them.
Claire, whole world, Claire. I don't know, just Claire. So that, I mean, again, very much in line with empaths and how they feel a lot of the time. So there's also, not to be mistaken, clairsentience, not to be mistaken for clair empathy.
That's a whole thing. That's a whole Claire itself. I didn't even see that one.
It's a whole Claire on its own. It's the ability to feel emotions in advance or feel things from afar. Family, parents have this. If your kid is in trouble, you're like, something's wrong. Yeah. You know, twins have this, right? If they're separated, they really have it. You know, twins are, I should do a whole episode on just twins. It's a fucking freaky, crazy, neat
Mine
phenomenon.
will come on and be your guest if you want.
Yes. The more twins, the better.
Right.
Yeah, because they have a whole thing, you know, and so they absolutely know. But this is also the ability to, again, feel emotions in advance. So this is like things in the future. Like you're already having those emotions, but they're not happening yet. So maybe that's also kind of a little bit of what you were feeling about the bad gut feeling. You know, came into play there a little bit because, you know, you had information that something bad was going to happen for whatever reason, and it made you feel some type of way for feelings in the future.
Yeah, I should have listened to it.
Should have listened to it. Always listen to it.
Actually, I wanted to listen to it, but Brandon made me not listen to it because he thought I was being crazy.
Well, you have to have the clarity to always go with your gut, but also know when it's fear talking instead of the gut feeling. So knowing the difference between the two, it can be difficult. So I don't think anybody blames you there. And then
I would have stayed home if it was just me.
So the best representation, I've just now gotten a clear cognizance on my list. And like I said, this is something that I know this happens to me. I know it does. So the best example that I can think of is back in January of 2020, I went to the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You got that good water.
I got that good water. It was great. Eureka Springs is fucking fantastic. I know I've talked about it on the show before, but listen, I can't tell you guys enough. It's fucking amazing. It is a cute little old-timey fucking town built into a mountain.
Yes.
So lots of stairs, lots of walking, but it's adorable. And it also has its own, I mean, there's a bunch of, you know, paranormal, you know, folklore to the city and, you know, stuff like that. It's a very weird place. But man, I almost moved to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, in the beginning of my whole journey. I just fell in love with it. But we went to the Crescent Hotel. And the Crescent Hotel, they call it that because there's this giant crescent moon statue out front. And, you know, it's really neat and witchy, right? But it sits at the top of the mountain. So it's at the very top of Eureka Springs. And it's been featured in all kinds of everything. I mean, every ghost hunting show's been there. And they've done things. Yeah. They have tours that they do, you know, constantly. I mean, it's very famously haunted. And I didn't know anything about this place when we went there, and we did that on purpose. And so,
did you feel it?
I did. I felt it. The guy that I was with at the time, he, you know, he knew all about it because he was from the area. And so he takes me there and he's like, I just want to see how you react. And I'm like, okay. And we go and like just different areas. I was like, this isn't good. I can't be right here right now. And his jaw would drop whenever we'd get, because I literally knew nothing at all about what the stories were or anything. But the most intense moment that I had was I couldn't go to the fourth floor. So it's 4 floors. So the story behind the Crescent Hotel is very dark. It was actually at first like a woman's home, like a home for like unmarried women, likely lesbians. Like, let's be real, that's what they were. Right. And they would go and stay there and like learn a skill and like throw themselves into a career before women really had careers, right? But they don't want to get married because they don't like dick. So they would all go have, you know, scissor sessions at the Crescent Hotel or whatever it's called at the time. But that's already, I mean, it's a dark history when it comes to gays and history in general, right? They were definitely living in a time where that wasn't acceptable. So was it like an actual just home for them to learn something, or did they try to like change them? Like, were they doing like tests on them and stuff too? Well, as far as I know, it was just like women that were like unmarriable. They probably were doing tests on them too, but I don't think they were. I mean, there's nothing in the history that says. They take a lot of pride now in the fact that it was like a woman's home at one point. But when you kind of dig into it a little bit more, again, it just seems more like, you know, back then, I'm not saying this is how it is now, but like back then you'd like have a family member that was like a little bit different, you know? Right. And so this was like the woman version of that. And then they would go and, instead of them being married and being turned into housewives, they weren't going to do that. So they needed to go figure out something to do. So they would go to the home, learn a skill, and then again, thrust themselves into a career. But a lot of them were, the reason why they weren't getting married and stuff is because they weren't interested because they were lesbians. And, but that story didn't really come out until later, right?
Right, because that's not something you talked about back then.
No.
And there's a different kind of home for those people back in that day.
No, but the very dark history comes in after the women's home. So eventually it was bought by this doctor who turned it into a cancer treatment center, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
With that good water.
He had that good water, yep. And so people would get cancer, and it was when cancer was very new to us, right? We couldn't really treat it, but he claimed to have a miracle cure. And he would take the patients in, and then they would live there, except the living part. So he would do experimental treatments with people and inject them with fucking crazy mixes of drugs. Like at one point he was injecting people with watermelon juice.
Yeah.
And
this guy was nuts.
Yeah. And
he
then,
was the definition of snake oil salesman.
He really was, because the whole point of it was a scheme, because rich families with cancer-ridden family members would send their family member, and they would pay him for them to live there, and he would write them letters and pretend oh, everything's going good, the treatment's really coming along, and they'd be dead the whole time.
Right.
He's still collecting their money. And
that's why people say it's so haunted, because there's no actual records of how many people died there, because he was not keeping track.
Well, exactly. And every little bit, they find more human remains there.
Mm-hmm.
If you, one of the most recent news, this happened back in I think it was 2016. They found a whole nother fucking grave pit. The zoo grave pit, but humans, and they, excavated that area and pulled out even more bodies. And the body count just continues, every so often, because he was just putting wherever he could. And, and it's super haunted. So at the very top, so you had the fourth floor, and then you had a little wing up above the fourth floor, which is kind of like a secret fifth floor. Nobody stays there, but that's where allegedly the doctor stayed at. And so when we would try to go up the stairs, I couldn't do it. I couldn't breathe. That was a weird thing. And I just thought that, at the time I was well, I'm fat and I'm wearing a coat and I'm inside because it was middle of winter, so I have a coat on. Maybe I'm just out of breath from all these stairs. But I would calm down. We'd be on the third floor and I'd get calm again. Mm-hmm. And then I'd start taking a couple steps on the fourth floor. And then I couldn't breathe. I was hyperventilating, and I'm I cannot go upstairs. I don't know why I cannot. And, I never did. I never did make it to the floor. I would love to go back, and challenge myself now, because let me tell you, I'm better at stairs now. Okay. Now I've lost some weight since then. I can do them.
It was not the weight that was keeping you.
I have to prove it to myself. Okay. Right. I have to, I got to challenge myself, but, yeah, and so it was fantastic. Then we went to they have a little gift shop, and it's really chintzy, and it's buy your own Ouija board from the Crescent Hotel, and they had there was a cat that was in the gift shop, and it was just sitting on this table of merchandise, and at first I was because after all that I was really freaked out, because we also had an experience where we stopped in a hallway, and I stopped to sit down, and the steps are half flights, so we stopped on one of the half flights, and there was a bench that I could sit on, and we were sat there, and I was kind of freaking out again, and all of a sudden we heard fucking footsteps running down the hallway past us, and then we heard a door slam closed.
All right.
It was crazy, and I was wow. So we get to the gift shop, and there's this cat sitting there, and they have a ghost cat there allegedly, and it's a black cat, and there's pictures of it all over this hotel. And so while we're walking around, you see this cat, and of course I get to the gift shop, and there's this fucking black long-haired cat, and I'm oh my god, is that real? Is that a real cat?
Did you touch it?
I did touch it, and it was a real cat. So it was not a ghost, but even better, it was real, and it let me pet it, so that was important to me.
Right.
But anyway, the clear cognizance comes into play, because when we left, then he's starting to kind of tell me what was going on, the different areas that I was hitting on. But he didn't really know what the fuck was the deal with the fourth floor, because there weren't really stories about it. They'll take you in the basement and you can go down. So like they've got the guy's morgue is still there and it's still intact. And
the whole property is the morgue.
What's that?
The whole property is the morgue.
Well, that's true. But they have this like dedicated morgue, and and there's, like I said, it's still intact and it's creepy. But so that's like the place, right? Oh, super haunted down there. Well, while we're in the car, we're driving, away. I just like started. I don't know. It was like to me, it felt like a stream of consciousness. But I just started talking. And it was like I couldn't stop what was being said. And it was from the perspective. It sounds so fucking weird and it sounds so crazy. And I swear to God, if anybody else told me this story, I'd be like, okay, whatever, it's bullshit. But I swear to you, it happened. It was like from the perspective of the wife of the doctor. Mm-hmm. And it was like about their marriage and how it was, falling apart and it wasn't good and she wasn't happy and she felt guilt about what was happening. And it was very intense. And so, and again, I'm the first person to tell you guys, I don't think that ghosts are dead people, but I don't know what the fuck that was about. And it was weird. I've never experienced anything like it ever again, but it was fucking weird.
Okay, can I just tell you the weird synchronicity of this? I looked it up.
Yeah.
So what I looked up was Eureka Springs Crescent Moon Hotel, 4th floor, paranormal activity. The first one that pops up. A visitor on tour September 2024 captured an image on the 4th floor of a figure walking away in black pants and a vest.
What?
Yes.
No way. It was the fear of me pegging them. That's why.
Exactly. That's why he was keeping you there. Also,
wow.
There's a ghost of a woman with a snap neck gliding down the hallway.
Yeah, I didn't see anything like that. It would have been cool. It would have freaked me out.
But you didn't even get there.
No, I didn't even. All right, I couldn't even get up there. He was like, "You can't. You're not allowed."
Yeah.
He put up like an electric fence.
Right.
Right. But anyway, it's a neat, it's a neat tale. Believe it or not, that's what happened to me. It's like I said, if anybody else told me that, I'd be like, okay, that's fucking weird. I'd check out so quickly on that conversation, but
right,
because I know, because I was there, it's wild. So yeah, claircognizance. We've got more clairs here. We're almost done.
Okay.
Clairalience. Clairalience is smells. So
that's a no-go for
smells. No thank
I am not good with the smells.
Sometimes they're nice. They're not always bad smells. They can be bad though.
I mean, that's good, but I don't want to take the gamble.
No, you don't want to take it, right? You don't. I mean, you
ever played that the jelly bean game?
Oh yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, what if like you're convinced that you have this power and you don't really? You're just married to somebody with silent but deadly farts. And you're like, there it is again, the smell.
But like, they don't want you to know that, so like they've been talking you into this like Claire for years.
Yeah. And then they die one day and it just goes away, and you're like, oh, they're at peace now, the spirit. So ridiculous, but but a lot of times people experience this in hauntings in general. Cigar smoke is one of them, or cigarette smoke, perfumes, things like that. You get that a lot and different, hauntings that people tell. And then there's clairgustance. Clairgustance is tasting things, which is even worse than smelling things, I think.
I should have held my disgust for a second before.
Because that's definitely, it's nice. Again, it's good when it's good, but when it's not.
Right.
Like,
really? Like, what?
I've never met anybody.
What's going on? I taste ass all of a sudden. Like, what the fuck? Why?
Who are you?
Grandma.
Oh no, not grandma's ass. But if ghosts are dead people, I might fuck with people a little bit with that one. If you taste ass all the time, it's probably me. You're welcome. I'll stop taking showers in the afterlife just for the win. Yeah, I've never come across anybody who
I didn't even know that one was a thing.
Apparently, it's a thing. Yeah, I would love to meet the person that has it. I mean, like I said, I've never encountered anybody that claims. I mean, everything else on this list I have, but that one, nope.
Right.
And then clairtangency is only it's very similar to the clairsentience, but it's only touch. So that's more like the Helen Keller thing of spelling. But yeah, just touch, nothing else to it. They just feel things touching them sometimes, which is terrifying, frankly. I mean,
yeah, I know. I mean, I would probably take the smell over the touch if things were touching me all the time.
That's true.
That I couldn't see.
Right. And you're like, I mean, you have the sensation of like, oh no, there's a bug on me. And then it's just like a hair or something, it would be like that all the time.
Yeah.
But instead you're like,
No.
oh no, they put their balls on me again. Not again. So that's basically all of the clairs and pretty much all of what being psychic covers. Again, some people can have both or multiple, right? Multiple of these gifts.
Both. I'm like, what? You only had two in that whole.
Yeah, only two in that whole talk. They can have all of them. They can have some of them. It really just depends on the person. So we're gonna
think of how many people like don't really have any of it, but like they talk themselves into having them and they're going crazy about it because something one time happened and it was so close to.
Yeah, and we can't, and I'm probably guilty of it. I think everybody is,
Mm-hmm.
You always question, did I know? Did I really know? Or, was it just me talking myself into it? I think that when you know, and that's really the only way I can explain it. But you do also have people that grift, that claim to have these things and don't at all. I think everybody experiences at least one of these things in their lifetime.
Right.
With psychic phenomena, it's interesting because while I am skeptical of it, I'm skeptical of the people that make money off of it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, those people are very, obviously they're in it for a reason. They have a goal. And it's very easy to fake something like this because you can't tell me that I didn't just taste ass out of nowhere. You don't know. And so how
Did
can
you see the face I made when I tasted it? How can you call me a liar?
It's obviously ass. Come on. Yeah, I mean that's so it's hard to challenge these things with people, unless they're making very specific claims, and a lot of them don't. They make very general claims, which is where like cold reading and stuff comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I do think that this does happen, and the only reason why I do is because it's happened to me,
Right.
and because I'm one of those people. I have to see it to believe it, and that's this case. If it didn't, and we've tried to study psychic phenomena, of course. We've talked about that a little bit on the show before, but the government has. MK Ultra is a whole thing. Well, not a whole thing just with that, but mind control and psychic phenomena and things like that. But yeah, I mean, but the results weren't consistent. So that's the problem with it, is that we can't really prove that there's something going on because it seems we don't have any control over it.
Right. And I mean, like, I'm a skeptic in all things, but there's things I believe in. And I like completely believe that there are certain people with these abilities that are really, really good at using them. But it's so like oversaturated with the fake people that you don't want to believe any of it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just, I mean, the fact that it gets exhausting because of the fake people. So even if you're genuine, you got so many people that don't believe you. It's like, well, fuck it. I might as well just not do it anyway. Like you said, it's very oversaturated. Very few people are, making Long Island media money.
Right.
Very few people are making that kind of impact. I mean, there's a reason why, there's like 4 famous psychics in the whole world,
Right.
because it's really not that large of a community. So it's hard to, break into to begin with. So, I mean, people do it for a little while. It kind of feeds their ego, and then they probably die off, or, well, they don't. Sometimes they die off,
right.
But
Bet you they didn't see that one coming.
exactly. They never can predict those things. That's wild. Or, whatever, the fun of it kind of goes away, and then it's a hustle, and it's like nobody really wants to hustle. They just want to make easy money. So, the people end up kind of fading away. But yeah, I do think that there are certainly people that do have this, but there are people that I think that the people that do have it, they have no control over it.
Right.
I just think that they happen to have these things happen to them, have these visuals happen to them, or these noises, or God forbid the tastes, and they and they're like, wow, that was strange. But I don't think that they could, on a whim, be like, oh, I can see this thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't buy that. If any one person had control over it, it would be a proven science.
Mm-hmm.
Case closed, and that one person would be a fucking millionaire because everybody would pay them all the money to study them. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Right. But there's people making, I don't want to say like lots of money, but it's more than pocket change off of these gullible people that want to believe so bad that they're talking to their spouse or mother or father that recently passed away, that they're going to pay you the money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that definitely happens. I mean, people have whole storefronts, dedicated to that type of practice. And
that's how cults begin, because there's people that will give you money for whatever you want to feed to them.
Well, or, in the vein of psychics, just people that just want to feel special for fucking 20 minutes. And so you're like, oh, I see your aura and it's so beautiful and you're so important to this world, Mm-hmm. Sometimes I would pay somebody just to say that to me. Just to feel good for a minute, let's be real, we're all human.
I mean, I'll tell you, you don't got to pay me. Just let me know when you want me to call.
I'll remember that.
I'm not going to try to scam you out of your hard-earned money.
Start sending you tips like you earn these. And you're like, no, that's not paying me. But switching gears a little bit, like I said, we're going to get into empaths. We're not there yet. Telepathy is another one of these type of phenomena of mysticism. Telepathy is sensing and receiving messages in the mind, or sending and receiving messages in the mind. So you can communicate through mind speak. And this one's neat because it is widespread through a lot of times ufology, but sometimes in the paranormal and in cryptozoology. People claim Bigfoot does mind speak, or whatever, which is
right.
Wild, but okay.
A lot of things are wild depending on who you talk to in these groups of people.
Very wild. But telepathy is something that, I took kind of an interest in just because of the injured cold stuff, right? That's how the Landulosians, that's how they talk to each other, is through telepathy. Humans allegedly can all do it, and some of them claim to be able to do it. Tanya claimed that she could do it, even though she never did it to me.
Right.
So I don't know what that's about.
And that's another thing where twins come in too, like twins and telepathy.
Yes. Yep. Can absolutely have that tie to each other, and they can talk to each other without actually talking to each other. It is very strange. And there are some interesting studies about people that are close like that, and kind of what happens where they are communicating, maybe not whole messages or sentences, but you have it. You go to a party with somebody and you give them that look and they know it's time to go.
Right.
Really, technically that's a form of telepathy. I mean, you're just kind of reading them. So it depends on how big or how small you want to make it. It definitely is right. There's a spectrum. But that's, again, I don't think there's anybody that can control it. I know because, again, I knew somebody who claimed they could and never talked to me telepathically. So I, whatever. I guess I wasn't
because
cool
you
enough.
Didn't have the gift to get the message. They have the gift to send it, but you don't have the gift to get it.
My mailbox was closed and locked.
Like, I'm sending you the message, but you're just
not getting it. Yeah, that I don't tell you.
Your file's not downloading.
Oh, that makes sense now. I get that.
There wasn't a freaking thick page of instructions like the tarot cards.
Right. One page, right. That's all you need.
I just need to know how to open the PDF.
Gotta unzip my file. And then, of course, we have actual mystics. So mystics is its own term as well as being an umbrella term. But a mystic is someone who believes they can reach God. So mystics actually dedicate their entire life to transcendence, transcending their human existence into something greater. So these are the people that are like, saying that basically, I'm transcending. We're all transcending. They think that they are above just general humankind and that they're meant for something more. And in their lifetime, they're going to achieve that. And most of the time, it's when death happens. Again, this is also how cults start. Right. When death happens, usually they kind of upgrade and evolve into whatever it is that they're supposed to come. Some of them believe that they are God. Some of them believe that they're better than God.
When you first said that word as like the umbrella term, like the first thing I thought of was the like the Greek gods, like Greek mythology. I was like, that sounds like a weird Greek mythology term.
Mystics? Yeah, I could see that. And you could definitely have, people at that time, I'm sure, having, similar beliefs, especially when it comes to the half human, half God people. Oh my God, what are they called? Jesus
Demigods.
Christ. Thank you. Yes,
I can't remember the word guide, but I got you on the demigods. I like Percy Jackson.
You've read lots of Page about that, huh?
Yes, I did read lots of Page.
Read the whole page about that. Mm-hmm. Demigods. I mean, they, probably, I'm sure regular humans had claimed to probably be demigods when they weren't really, or, they thought they were. And so they were a type of mystic. But yeah, they're just kind of on a whole new level. And of course, they claim a lot of these gifts, or most of the time, all of these gifts. Again, very susceptible to grifting, very susceptible. People with mental health issues are very susceptible to these ideas. Or, maybe there is something there. Who knows? But that one's a little harder to bite off and chew if you're trying to say that you are equal to God.
Right.
I'm a little less open-minded to that one.
They drank the Kool-Aid.
I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm like, do you have a page that I could read about this?
Just a scroll comes out, like one long-ass page of why they are the same as God.
It is technically a page, you're right.
Right.
Those are just one page. Wow.
That's how all instruction manuals should be written now.
Just in a scroll.
Rolled up in a box, and then you unroll it, and it's like,
I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Like, how many books do I own, right? It'd be so much cooler if it was a bunch of scrolls on my shelf.
You know how many more you could fit? Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. It's efficient, right? It's good organizing skills. Maybe I'll release Entered Cold on a scroll. I got to figure that out.
If you do, I'm the first one to buy that page. Like,
I'm gonna buy the page. They would end up being so long, but that's the thing about a scroll is that you tuck what you're not reading into the top and keep unreeling from the bottom. So it really, even then, like, you don't need a bookmark. It is.
I never knew that, but you know where I learned that?
Where did you learn that?
Antiques Roadshow.
Okay, so.
It was such an interesting fact to the guy that was explaining it in the most monotone voice ever, but you could tell he was excited from my telepathic powers of body language reading that I got.
You're like, it's coming. This information, I need it.
Look at his eyes, I can tell.
Why does it taste like ass all of a sudden?
It's because the scroll's 450 years old.
That is that's a very interesting fact. But I guess you're right. Because if you didn't honestly know, then why wouldn't you just assume that it's only rolls up from one side?
Right.
Very good point. Yeah, scrolls they're neat. They're neat things. We should bring them back.
We should. You should be the first. Bring it back.
I'm doing it. I'm going to figure out how to do this.
How much cheaper would it be when you go to, like, get your book published and they're like, well, how many pages is it? And you're like, 1.
It's just 1 page. Oh my gosh. But it's 30 feet long. It's just 1 though.
You said you charge by the page. It is 1.
That's true. I could really, because it's not that big of a book to begin with. I could scale down the font I mean, I really could make this work. And then you have to have a magnifying glass with it. You can get your scroll and your
Or you buy a bulk order on Temu of mini magnifying glasses and tuck them in so they get the magnifying glass with the scroll.
With the scroll. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? I have a magnifying glass that comes with it. Yeah, absolutely. Somehow this has got. I have to figure this out. There's got to be a way.
Oh yeah,
You got to find who makes scrolls.
Ask Jeff Craig. He knows.
Ooh, he might be able to. I mean, he makes maps. That's kind of similar to scrolls.
That's what I was thinking. Two completely different things, but my head went to Jeff Craig. He knows.
I mean, a map is also just a page, right? So,
yeah.
Wow, he's the page guy. I'm going to ask him.
He is.
It's a good. That's a great. I'm going to figure this out. I'm determined now.
He'll call you Wednesday because he'll know the answer after he listens.
Yeah, I'm just saying, pre-order your scrolls now, people.
Right.
I got to get this off the ground.
Come see us at Mothman. We'll have a sign-up sheet.
Yes, there we go. $25 down payment. That should cover it. I don't know how much they cost. We'll see. Gosh. Anyway, we're almost there. We're finally now going to really get back into empaths. I keep wanting to say empathy because it's similar, but it's not. It's empaths. So again, people that are basically clairsentient. They read the room and their energy shifts depending on the read of the room, depending on the atmosphere. They can feel what you're feeling. But the word empath has really become a very popular thing in like New Age. And like the New Age group, right? And so everybody's an empath now. And the thing about it is that science has discovered that, well, actually, everybody is an empath. So basically, so in your brain, you have what they call mirror neurons. Okay, mirror, like the movie Mirrors that you were talking about.
Yes.
And these are neurons in the brain that we've actually scanned and watched, and they react to other human behaviors around us. So what they have found when scanning the brains of people who claim to be empaths is that these people have hyperactive mirror neurons in their system.
Okay.
And so everybody has mirror neurons. Again, this is like how you get social cues. Probably a lot of people, depending on where you're at in the spectrum, a lot of people on the autistic spectrum may have more or less, right? Some of them aren't good at like social cues and things like that. It's because they lack mirror neurons. And some of them are really in tune to that and they have more mirror neurons. And so you can train these in your brain to mimic human behavior. And so you can study human behavior. It's where like body language readers come from. They'll teach you kind of how to be a real life lie detector, right? If you go in for any type of criminology, by reading people's body language and things like that, which is not 100% reliable just because, people are neurospicy and they have different things that cause them to be awkward. But it's a safety measure for us. If you look around a room and you're in a room of people that are like objectively horrified, like you can see it on their faces, then it's a survival tactic for you to know, oh, these people are scared. It's just a way for us to read emotion, basically. However, people who, again, claim to be empaths to kind of be able to read other people, they are actually reading the emotions of these people in probably teeny tiny nuances that your brain picks up, but you don't necessarily see.
Okay.
And so it is there really is something to it. And the fact that we've even taken the time to entertain this at all is a really big deal. This is actually kind of a newer study that they did. And, the fact that they have kind of pinpointed that there is a science at play here means that, it kind of opens the door for all these other clairs, right?
Well, yeah. And then you got to think too, like, do dogs have that many mirrored neurons?
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to say.
So because they can tell if you're a good person or a bad person. Like
they can.
They will like you or they will not like you right off the bat.
Part of training your dog is that your dog feeds off of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are freaking out about something, they're going to freak out about something too. That's why, especially what we have, I've talked about Pepper before on the show. We have an aggressive dog in my family.
Yeah.
He had actually over Labor Day weekend, we had a family get together and they invited somebody to the house who Pepper's never met before. And Pepper, we were worried about him because we're like, he's going to kill him. Like, he can't. So they had Pepper on like a leash, and my mom was like, well, maybe if Pepper could just like sniff him, like he would get over it. Pepper got close enough to bite the person and bit and immediately bit him. And it was okay. It was barely nothing. There was no, broken skin or anything. But, part of that is that my mom is standing there freaking the fuck out.
Right.
And, I think that Pepper could be calm, but the fact that she was already worked up that there was a new person in the home, it sets him off. He knows.
Right.
And I'll tell you something about that dog. Listen, I think he was a human and I think he knows that he was human in a past life. That dog.
And now he is pissed.
Oh my God. Like looking into his eyes, like he's so miserable. Like he knows that he's a dog and he's trapped in a dog's body and he hates it. And it's like, again, I don't know how I know this, but I just do. It's that clear cognizance.
It's like,
I can't say it now.
Trans species a thing.
It is with Pepper because let me tell you, he knows. He knows he's a dog, and he hates it. He's like, I have no control over anything, and he does not like that. But yeah, no, he definitely read off of her and her nervousness around the situation. Maybe he would have bit him anyway. I don't know, but it didn't help. And people tell you in that situation, if you ever come across like an aggressive dog, you need to be calm.
Right.
You start freaking out, it's going to set off its prey drive, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, I know.
Did you like freak out at your mom? Like, this was your idea. Why are you freaking out?
I've told her plenty of times. I'm like, look, you just have to, because let me say, that dog did not bite me for the first year and a half of his life and would take chunks out of her the whole time. And it's just the way that she allowed him to act. And then the way that she portrayed herself with her, she was afraid that he was going to bite her. And so he did. And so it just continued. When he bit me, I don't know. I mean, I think he was just kind of testing the waters, but it hurt my feelings and just things have never been the same between me and Pepper. It's sad because Pepper loved me, and he still does, but I don't love him as much anymore.
Right.
But I try. He still gives me kiss. So there's that, but
okay.
Only for a second because I don't like him in my face. But then I know I'm like, I can't freak out that he's trying to kiss my face because then it's going to set him off.
And you don't want that to happen. That's a whole different ball game.
Exactly. You can't. This is my moneymaker. You can't. No, thank you. I like my lips and eyes and mouth where they are.
Right.
It'd be nice.
Why wouldn't you? I've been this way for 30-some years. I don't want to relearn how to look at myself.
All right. Can you imagine how to relearn how to smell?
Right. No.
Thank you. But yeah, no, animals definitely have this trait, and we know it. I mean, just my cats. My cats have that also.
Yeah.
They, cats are. They definitely seem to be pretty in tune with it. They just don't give a fuck most of the time. But yeah, different species we can certainly pick apart, and I'm sure they do have more mirror neurons than we do. And so, it's a way for them. Again, it's a survival mode. It's something that we have instinctually that we're only really just now scratching the surface of. So, how much of this is that? Until we continue to dig into it scientifically, right? And in a controlled study. And not just, because we are trying to freak out and create a bioweapon to control the masses.
Oh, yeah, no. And I think like a lot of it with people has to do with like the trauma they've been through and how much attention they paid to the situation, like how they got there, what the surroundings were, what they did. And then you can really read people really good based off of that if you like sat down and thought about it.
Yeah.
Like my life, like when I went through all of my stuff, 10, 15 years ago, like to become sober and stay sober for 10 years, I was in jail too for 6 months. So I had time to sit there and reflect on everything. And I wanted to, because I didn't want to get out and die. And I used to sponsor girls, and I can't do it because let me tell you, with so much self-reflection and knowing so much about what I went through and why I did it and stupid stuff I did and what I said to people, I could tell you if they were going to make it or not within the first 5 minutes of talking to them. And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to waste my time doing this. It's that I don't want to feel the pain when they go back out.
Yeah.
because
I
the
know
way they're
exactly what you
talking,
mean.
I know they're going to go back out.
Yeah, because they have to. It's a choice that you make, but it's not an easy choice that you make, and it's weird to explain overcoming trauma to somebody who never
Right.
has, because they don't get it. But I mean, you almost really have no control over that choice. It's like a light switch that just turns
That's
on.
how I explain it. Like there literally has to be a physical like light switch that clicks that says, I don't want to do this anymore and I'm serious. Like,
Well, because before that point you say it plenty. I don't want to
Right.
be this way. Don't want to live this life. Don't want to experience this any longer. Don't want it. Don't want it. Don't want it. And you don't want it. But for whatever reason, I don't know what. I don't know how. I don't know what sets it off. All of a sudden, one day it just clicks, and you're like, "Oh shit!
Right.
It doesn't have to be this way." And I can't tell you how to get there.
Exactly. Like you have to that has to click in your head. Like, and you can people that are trying to help you know if you're being honest or not. Like, I didn't get sober to prolong your lying and your sickness. Like, if you're not going to be straight with me, I don't even want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, and it's not, it's tough because then they do lie because they know they're fucking up, but it's like, but you get it. You know what it's like to be that person because you were at one point, and you're like, fuck, so you want to help the people that want the help.
Mm-hmm.
But then that means you can't really pick and choose in those situations because you get all kinds. And so, and you might have people that kind of do the right thing for a minute and then, but they're just kind of, especially with, addiction.
Yeah.
That's most of, I hate to say it that way, but most of them are the same people their entire lives until they die.
Right.
From the addiction, and they have a cycle, they get clean, they're doing good, and then they don't. And so it's just kind of putting on airs just to look like they're doing okay. And they never were the whole time.
Right.
You find out, you never really did get clean. You just got better at hiding it. It's exhausting. It's a lot of work. And then, like I said, if you can't really tell these people how to turn that light switch on because you don't fucking know how.
Right. There's no page on this.
No, right. No page. No, not one page about it.
No.
But there is, I think trauma has a lot to do with a lot of unexplained phenomena. It's certainly something that I've picked apart a lot, something you guys will hear me talk about more when you come listen to my Android Cold Talk and you read my book, Unscroll.
Sorry, I have a coughing fit right now.
Are you dying? You all right?
No, I'm in my teenage kid's room.
Oh.
With my laptop set up and I'm breathing in their nasty teenage boy air.
I bet it tastes like ass in there.
Oh, it does.
That's but yeah, trauma is a big part of these things for whatever reason. I don't there's something there to it. And again, we're kind of getting closer and making strides and closing that gap, but we're still very far away. Mm-hmm. From actually pulling the trigger on that and, really, I don't know why, I don't know why science is like, oh, I don't get the connection here. I mean, I think it's obvious, but I guess it's because they're paid to study science. They're not paid to study the paranormal.
Well, yeah, but then you're putting in every single person is different. So you can't put in a code for each person and expect it to be the same. Your science isn't going to individually map out everyone with the same formula. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. And we're getting there, sort of. We see it every day in just inclusion, right? Mm-hmm. How people we're definitely moving into a more inclusive society, because we're starting to really recognize that my experience, my perception, my thoughts, my opinions on things don't necessarily mean that that's what everybody thinks and feels. And we have to step outside of ourselves to be able to be accepting of everybody else around us. And, just culturally, we're getting better. And I think as we get better at stuff like that culturally, and I know that sounds weird to say about differences of opinion. Right. But it's true. I think that as we continue to navigate that and we become more inclusive as a culture, then I think our sciences and stuff are going to reflect that more, and they're going to become more inclusive as studies. Because right now they are very formulaic. They're mm-hmm. A plus B equals C. That's what it is, but they're not taking into account much of the nuance, and they need to at times to get to figure out why A and B mm-hmm. equals C, which I'm sure they know. They're aware of that. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's just thinking outside the box to change it or come up with the reason why. Just not because that's how it is. Not anymore.
I talk about this a lot. Money is a big deal. I mean, there's nobody throwing money at this type of stuff. Right. I don't know where the fuck Bigelow is and what he's doing. He needs to make a comeback. We need more people with money that are interested in these topics to invest in these topics. To actually try to get somewhere. But it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of study and case study. I don't just normally I don't just take somebody's sighting and be like, oh yeah, you saw something weird. That's crazy. I get to know these people. That's where I carved out my expertise in this field. I really try to analyze these people, and who they are and what they think and why they think they saw what they saw and, really get to know them. And it's been successful so far. I mean, and I think forming my opinion.
I mean, you didn't grow up with Tanya. She wasn't like your best friend for your whole life. She was a person that you met from an experience. You got to know her. You wrote a whole book about it.
Whole book about it. Yeah.
Threw in your perspective and opinion. I mean, I believe you 100% when you say you get to know these people that come at you with experiences.
Because I think it's important. I recently made a comment. And it was supposed to just be kind of lighthearted, but it turned a little bigger than that. They asked what cryptid is the most likely and what cryptid is the least likely. And I said, when I answered least likely, I said Dogman.
Okay.
People are going to be angry that I said that. But hear me out, guys. My specialty is creating intimate relationships with these people, really getting to know them on a deeper level beyond just, I like Dogman, And my experience with that community and with the talking heads in that community, I've every single one I've ever met, it doesn't mean that good ones don't exist, but everyone I've ever met has been narcissistic, has had an ego the size of the fucking moon. They've been extremely insecure. And these are your people that are bringing you the information and the stories, right? Just them as characters, they're not good people. They have, I'm not going to say they're not good people. They have a lot of faults.
Yeah, I'm going to say I disagree with that comment if we're talking about the talking heads. Just because, I don't know, I like some of them.
Right. I can't say they're not good people. Like I said, they have their faults. But again, I've never met one that didn't have those traits. I'm open to having my mind changed. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the witnesses and those people, the couple of witnesses that I know, they're really out there into the woo. I know one, he's a flat earther, and it's are you fucking serious right now? So it's is this mental illness for them, or is it the fact that they saw a dog man that made them now potentially, entertain the idea that the world is not round, throughout all logic and reason? It could be. However, when I look at their lives, they're very lonely people. They don't really have a lot of friends. A lot of them are, I hate to say it, single with no kids or adult kids. A lot of them are older, people, and older people are bored. They don't have a lot going on anymore.
But I have Brandon and the kids, but we work our lives away, and I have no friends that I hang out with outside of my household. I called you the other day. I was like, I need to talk to an adult.
Well, I'm not saying that everybody that's lonely makes shit up.
Right.
I'm just saying that these particular people always have the lonely traits, which can be susceptible to making shit up. So that way they belong somewhere, Mm-hmm. And so all the stories seem to stem from not reliable sources based on the character of the people, involved in all these things. Again, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying that they have faults to them. And so therefore I have not come across good evidence for the creature.
I can say, I really haven't looked into any of the witnesses or personal stories, in detail to have an opinion on any of that. I couldn't tell you. And
I stepped out. Honestly, because that community is so toxic. It's if you try to come in and you try to conduct genuine research and you question anything, you're shunned and shamed and everybody bullied out of it. Mm-hmm. They don't want you if you're not here to believe in everything they say. And so I'm well, that's not my circle. So I got out of it pretty early on. So honestly, I haven't really I haven't dug too much. I have a local dog man, story that I've looked into a little bit. Haven't really found anything on. So I mean, if it comes up on my radar, I'll take a look at it. But I'm not running to get into it just because I've already been there, and I'm like.
So what was your most likely?
My most likely was who did I say? I think I agreed with Bigfoot. Bigfoot's definitely most likely because I just there's so much evidence for it, and I kind of compared the two. I mean, Bigfoot there's video evidence for it, and you've got all these credible witnesses, people that don't make money off of it, or like, oh, I saw Bigfoot. So everybody's got almost everybody has a Bigfoot story in their family, right? They got a crazy uncle that saw it one time. I think that's more likely. We just in the last couple of years found fossils of a primate on North America. And that was, that we just found that out. That was kind of new. We didn't have evidence of that before. And so it wasn't a Bigfoot or anything. It wasn't a large primate, but the fact that we had a primate at all, that was groundbreaking. So, I mean, I think that's pretty likely. I believe is what I answered.
Okay.
Probably something else, though. I think I said something else, but I don't remember now what it was. But Bigfoot's always there.
Interesting.
Just a little sidebar.
It's just because you want to see its penis one day.
I do. I need to know, damn it. Because I agree. It's tiny. It's got to be small. Nobody ever talks about it. Ever. Yeah, just one person to be like, man, I saw this Bigfoot, and this thing was fucking just swinging knee to knee.
Yeah, I mean, you said they got video evidence, and everybody's like, oh, there's its arm. Well, wouldn't you think it'd have something else swinging too if you wanted to identify this creature?
It's never there,
He doesn't have pants on.
Right. There's no excuse not to see something. I'm just saying, it doesn't make sense that there's no Bigfoot penis reports out there. We have plenty of Bigfoot erotica. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, okay, where did those ideas come from? Well, they didn't come from anywhere. It's just, in porn, they don't cast small dicks, It's
They're just writing what they know.
So, of course, I imagine that, but they're all wrong. Right. I'm going to write a Bigfoot erotica, and it's tiny.
You should.
And then put it on a scroll.
It'd be the shortest scroll ever.
No, it's gonna be super detailed about encountering the Bigfoot. There's gonna be hot and heavy making out and touching, and it's gonna get real sexy. And then all of a sudden, he's gonna pull his dick out, except she can't find it. And then he kills her. I don't know,
because she laughed at his tininess.
Yeah. He starts laughing, and he's like, "Whatever. My mom says it's big."
He's got little man syndrome.
That's right. He freaks out and he throws her in anger, but accidentally kills her. Now it's turned into a murder mystery. He's got to hide the body.
Do it.
A detective comes in. He's got to investigate what happened here. And then the whole world finds out about Bigfoot's small dick. I think I might do this. I think I've shared too much with you guys. I need to cut that part out. Make my money.
We don't know how it's going to go by the time you get it on paper.
On one page. Yep.
Yes. On scroll.
On scroll. You'll get your magnifying glass, not only so that you can read it, but also so that you could see Bigfoot's penis.
Yes.
It'll be your Bigfoot penis magnifying glass.
It'll be the illustrated scroll.
I'll have you draw it. I'll have you draw the Bigfoot penis. You won't actually draw anything. It'll be nothing.
Right. You see it?
It's right there. I'd tell you what page it's on, but it's all on one page. So
it's on page 1.
That's actually another really genius idea. Wow. So anyway, I don't remember what point I was making. I was making one about getting to know these people. Just about the trauma and stuff, I think. Mm-hmm. But back to the topic. That's pretty much it. I mean, I think I wanted to kind of go over why psychics don't work for the police and missing persons reports, because there have been some people who have accurately predicted where bodies are, but is that just by chance or?
Well, okay, so we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I found 2 psychics that had multiple cases with the police, and one of them Let me think. Her last name was Allison. Where is it at? Dorothy Allison. She's done over 4,000 cases with the police.
Successful cases where she's found the person? Or
I
just,
don't know if all 4,000 of them were successful, but there's 2 that like I jotted down for her that were just crazy, I thought. Like, it was weird.
Well, let's hear them. Yeah.
Okay.
Bring them out.
So the first one was of John DeMars. So he's 30-year-old New York City banker who boarded his evening commuter train to Nutley, New Jersey on December 20th, 1974. But when the train stopped in Nutley, DeMars was not on board. The assistance from psychic Dorothy Allison was called upon. Allison told detectives she saw John falling off the train and drowning. While Allison couldn't say exactly where this happened, she did say she saw a bow and arrow and the numbers 222. Although law enforcement couldn't make sense of the clues then, the body of John DeMars turned up 2 months later on February 22nd, 222. A father and son had been practicing archery by the shore off the Passaic River which runs along DeMars' train route when one of their arrows landed beside DeMars' body in shallow water. Police later pieced together that DeMars had fallen asleep on the train, and when the conductor made an unscheduled stop along the Passaic River Bridge, DeMars, still half asleep, stepped off the train, falling off the bridge, and drowned. That one I thought was crazy.
I mean, I was ready to tear these people apart, but like that wasn't an accident. Like,
right?
Was fucking, I mean, either she orchestrated the whole thing herself. She dumped, she pushed him into the water,
right.
And then it was her family hunting, and they knew exactly, which obviously isn't true, or something was at play there. I mean, because there's not a coincidence to be had in that one.
Well, this other one I found is just as crazy. Like, it blew my mind when I read this. So this one's called The Disappearance of Susan Jacobson. So on May 15th, 1976, 14-year-old Susan Jacobson left home in Staten Island to go to work. After not returning home, her parents called police, who dismissed their claim, stating that she ran away with her boyfriend. The Jacobsons contacted Dorothy Allison, who experienced visions of Susan being strangled by her boyfriend, and offered several clues as to where to find the bodies. There's an abandoned car, the smell of fuel oil, 2 smokestacks, and the letters MAR in red spray paint. Law enforcement declined to investigate the clues, but Susan's father was able to locate a rock spray painted with the letters MAR at an abandoned World War I shipyard, from which 2 smokestacks and an abandoned car could be seen. That's where Susan's body was found 2 years later, concealed in 2 oil drums. Crime scene evidence pointed to her boyfriend, who was deported back to England and sentenced to 22 years prison for murder.
That's the same woman that worked on
that's
that
the same woman.
So she might be on. Is she still alive? Dorothy Allison, not the missing girl,
right? No, obviously. She died in 1999.
That's too bad. I'd love to get her on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, a lot of these, because I've watched this lady on TikTok have her downfall. This alleged psychic. Who do you know, like the Utah murders that just happened? Yeah, that like the guy just got convicted for or whatever. So she was like saying that it was one of the teachers at the university that did it, like a female teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and she was like dead set on this, and she was like, "Oh, she definitely did it," and she actually has been through court, has been sued by this woman rightfully, and has just been absolutely dragged. And yeah, good, fuck her, because obviously she was not telling the fucking truth, and was just grifting off of people and tragedy, which is disgusting. Unfortunately, there are again, back to the grift part, there's so many fakes out there that when you do have genuine cases, they just get buried, right. So it is a topic I'd really like to deep dive into one day, because that is crazy. But I've definitely heard of police enlisting the help of psychics, and to varying degrees of success. Again, sometimes they're just lucky. If you happen to live in a town and there's a marshy area of the little town that you live in, and you're like, oh, the body's there. I mean, the chances are the body's there. Yeah. A broken clock is right twice a day. And so it's like, is it that, or, in that case, the ones that you just read off, like, that's intense.
Right. It's okay. So this is an article about her. It said that unlike a lot of psychics, Allison doesn't have to be anywhere near the location of the person. She only asks for the person's date and place of birth and the date and location last seen, and then she can do her work.
Man, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
We should brain scan her. I mean, hopefully we kept her brain and scanned it.
If they didn't keep her brain, they're stupid.
Right, because there's something there, obviously in that particular situation with that person, there's something there. Whether or not she can control it, I don't know. Again, going back to that whole situation, which would be interesting to find somebody that's still alive to
you
talk
can buy
to.
the book on Amazon. It says the famed clairvoyant tells her own true detective tales. Dorothy Allison, a psychic story. She wrote a book.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out because I've never heard of her. I mean, this is the first. It could just be my ignorance on the topic in general, but because it really isn't something I've deep dived too much. But yeah, I think it would make a really good just its own episode, and what that looks like for people.
Mm-hmm. I
think that would be cool. Well, thank you for bringing those up. At least I think touching on them, I think that's neat. I mean, there's. Again, I'd love to jump on here and just shit all over all these people with psychic abilities, but I can't do it, guys. I can't.
There was also like one more that I thought was weird because it took like a turn that the other ones didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please.
I don't even know how to say the name. Melanie Uribe.
Okay.
So it starts off, it says, one might wonder how psychics who see these vivid visions of grisly crimes don't end up as suspects themselves. In 1981, when clairvoyant Etta Smith had a vision involving a woman, Melanie Uribe, who had recently went missing. Her vision was so strong, she went looking for the body herself and found it. Smith was arrested and charged with murder, but was released after the real killer confessed.
Wow. Have you ever watched there's also, I'm going to bring it up, there's a episode of Catfish. Where, no shit, this girl is contacted by this woman who says that she's a psychic medium and that the girl's dead father is talking to her. And she got into contact with the girl online. Somebody she'd never met before to, basically deliver the messages that the dad was, saying or whatever. It was crazy. It was a crazy episode of Catfish. So of course the girl goes on Catfish and she's like, I don't know if this woman's nuts.
Right.
I don't know who she is. This is wild, and they kind of, and she ended up being, who she said she was. I mean,
wow.
It's I don't remember what episode it was, but just look up, Catfish Psychic.
Okay.
Or whatever, it's on there. Yeah, I mean, there are really interesting, which of course are people that are saying, oh, it was all staged, and I don't know, it could have been. I think Catfish is probably staged a lot of the times, but
probably
maybe it wasn't
good TV.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was genuine. I don't know those people, but maybe I could get that woman on. We could talk to her. I don't know, or the girl. Talk to her and see what happens. I mean, I just don't think that you would air your dirty laundry out in public like that. Because it was kind of a tragic. Her dad was kind of not a good dude.
Yeah, that wouldn't be like season 5, episode 10, Kayla and Courtney.
There we go. See? Quick with the Google. Oh my gosh, the Google foo. You're good at that.
Yeah, that's what I have to do most of the time to know big words.
I just get good at it eventually.
Right. Half the time I had to look up what Tobias was saying while I was listening to the show. No, I'm
over here like, oh man, I wish I could remember what that date was of that thing. And I could just Google it. I don't know. My brain's still stuck in the early 2000s. I'm like, just too much effort, I guess. I don't know. It's it blows my mind where we're at as a society technologically, where we stand. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot there's a computer in my pocket at all times.
Right. When back in the day, if someone called, it kicked you off the internet. Well, I'm sitting in my kid's room with the internet on my phone and the computer and on my iPad right next to me. Right.
It's crazy. And anybody could call and it would be fine.
Right. It's not going to kick me off.
Gosh. So yeah, I mean, I think the psychic phenomena, or mystics or mysticism, or again, whatever you want to call it, I think there's some kernel of truth to all of it in general. Does that mean all of it is true? No. But is there something at play here? I'd like to think that there is, and just at minimum, for the sake of whimsy, I don't mind believing that there is. I don't think it hurts anything, until they're taking advantage of people and death and fucked up situations. Like, that's disgusting. And I don't condone or promote that in any way, and I never will. But that's not what all this is. And I hope that, maybe we can have some good influences in that circle, to overshadow the bad eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
Because
But right now it seems like it's the height of like paranormal era or something.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you would want to call it, but it's so oversaturated at the moment that you're never going to know who's right and who's wrong and who has it and who doesn't.
Well, and just unless like someone comes to you and just reads you like a scroll,
Exactly.
Once but even then it's personal. Then it doesn't matter to the masses. Again, I could tell you, oh yeah, this crazy thing happened, but you have to believe me first,
right?
And, in order for that to even matter. And even then, fucking, I could make it up. There's always that possibility.
Well, yeah. And then you have to believe the person, especially if it's about your future. Like, how long do you have to wait for this to happen? Like,
yeah. I bring this up a lot sometimes. No, not a whole lot, but I brought it up before, just because it's interesting. And whenever I think about it, I like telling you guys about it. One of my friends, back in probably 2011, 2012, received a text message from herself from the future.
Really?
She did.
Did it give her good advice?
It said null, Null, null.
Okay.
But it was dated like way in the future. And so I feel like maybe the date has come and passed, and then I don't know whatever happened about it. Because I feel like it was like in the future, but it was like, well, that's kind of close. It was like 2018 or something. But I don't talk to her anymore. But anyway, I just like to bring that up sometimes. And I've tried to look into that. Other people have received text messages from themselves.
Yeah,
or other
there's
people
been a lot of people that have received text messages from themselves and phone calls, especially lately, because that's what scammers are doing now.
Yeah, they're really good at that part.
Right.
So that's another thing. It's like, man, because there's so many fake ones, we don't know what are genuine future text messages or not.
Right.
Bullshit. I'm just saying, we gotta set the bar somewhere. We gotta set it high, but not unattainable. So, if we have to have some type of expectation when we walk into these types of topics, but it shouldn't be so far up that nobody can reach it. Because again, these are unexplained phenomena. Obviously, there should be nuance and there should be wiggle room for us to give belief in there somewhere, in order for us to even explore this in a serious way. And so, and I feel like psychic phenomena is definitely one of those things. Like, yes, we should call it the fakers, but again, how do you prove that someone's faker?
Right.
In most of these cases, I said it, you can't tell them that they don't taste ass. You don't know.
Right. Like, I will believe in anything until you can prove me wrong. I'm not one of those people that are like, well, I don't believe until you show me. Like, no, I will believe it until you prove it wrong. And then I don't have to believe it anymore. But there are things that I believe more than I do other things. And I don't have to believe everybody.
Well, and that part's very true. I mean, that's just, because I say it all the time as somebody that did not believe in any of this stuff until it happened to me. I mean, that's really the only thing that keeps me tethered to this, is that if it never did happen to me, I still wouldn't believe it to this day. And I have to keep that in mind when I talk to both people who make huge claims about things that they've seen, experienced, whatever, and the people that are skeptical about those claims, because I get where both sides are coming from.
Right.
And having that perspective is really important. But I mean, at the end of the day, I tell you guys all the time, I'm not here to tell you what to believe in. That's up to you to decide what you believe in.
Right.
It's not up to me. I can only tell you as much of the facts that we have. And, some of the facts that we have are, especially in cases like this, are just personal experience. And you either believe it and believe it's something special, or maybe you believe it and you believe there's a reasonable explanation, or maybe you don't believe it at all. I don't know. That's your battle, not mine.
And that's like I do not like engaging in conversations with people at these like cryptid events, because they have their opinions. They are very, very strong opinions, and they are waiting for you to say something they don't believe in so they can argue with you. And I refuse to argue about someone's opinion with them, because I don't care. It's your opinion. I've got my opinions. Like, I just refuse to talk to people sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, right, and arguing opinions about things that we have not proven to be real or anything. I mean,
believe
it's
whatever
really
you want to
ridiculous.
believe. That's fine.
No, it's really, and I mean, you should believe in things based off of information, right? Informed decision making and critical thinking and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I can't say that one person's theory, I mean, just like I said, least likely for me is Dogman. That's based off of my personal experiences with that community. I'm open-minded enough to where if I were to meet people outside of that generalization, then I could give it a little more light. But until that happens, I can only go based off of my experiences. So somebody who strongly believes in psychic Bigfoot, which is something that I don't believe in, you know, maybe they encountered a psychic Bigfoot. Like, it's not up to me to tell them that's not real and that didn't happen. Like, it's based off of their perception and, you know, their reality of the situation. And so I'm not going to be like, oh, you're wrong. I can only tell you that I don't believe in that.
Right. And I will not argue with you about it because I have done a lot of anger management classes and don't want to fall back into that. Like, I'm not going to scream at you. Like, I got an A on that test. I'm not going back.
So if you guys want to be more like Cassie, she's got some recommendations for you. She can pass along some information and let you know.
I do. It's not worth it. Like, you only live once. It's not worth it.
No, it's not. As somebody with high blood pressure, listen, you don't want to be in that position.
Right.
It's not good.
Like, if I sit there, if I don't know you and, like, we have a conversation and for like an hour or whatever, you will walk away thinking I'm your best friend because I will agree with everything you say because I am not going to argue with you.
Yeah. Honestly, that's so. I wish I could be more. There's definitely topics I bury my flag at. A lot of the paranormal stuff is not. There's some, but not a lot of it. You know, it just depends. But other things in life, right? So, I mean, I don't know. If you don't like cheesecake, you're just wrong. You know, I just fucking don't know what to tell you, my guy.
I don't like Cheesecake Factory, but I like cheesecake. But I don't like Cheesecake Factory's cheesecake.
That's fine. That's totally acceptable. But cheesecake as a whole, you're just just cheese in general.
Right.
Even people that are lactose intolerant fucking love cheese. So don't sit here and lie to me and act like you don't love cheese. That's ridiculous. You know, then I'm just going to call you a liar. You know, it's not even about opinions at that point. That's just facts. I mean,
people that come into the pizza shop and order pizza without cheese, I'm like, why would you pick this for your meal if you can't have cheese?
They're just doing it to show off to other people. Look how cool I am by not eating cheese. And it's like, look how fucking miserable you are by not having cheese.
Right? Like, what? Do you know what you're missing? The best part of the pizza.
No, I'm just saying. And don't come for me, people. Oh, people have other allergies. And no, they fucking don't. They're lying. All that's wrong. Whatever doctor told them that,
I'll go
liar.
up a next level. People that come in, they get a gluten-free cheeseless pizza.
Oh, no. It's just
now you're eating cardboard with red sauce on it.
Right. Fire your doctor. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
And red dye is horrible for you, so when's that going to come off? Like,
right. And right at that point, just stop going to pizza. Just don't get pizza.
But there will still be pizza people there. They will. Can we get a crust with pepperoni, please? Okay.
You just want dry crust with pepperoni? Yeah.
We don't take money off for no cheese. I mean, that's not our problem.
Oh my God.
The computer doesn't allow that. Like,
have people ever tried to get money off for their no cheese?
Yeah, they'll be like, well, we didn't even get cheese on this. Why are we paying so much? Because it's in the system. Like, it's not, I can't like calculate your total because that's what our computer tells us you owe.
Oh my God.
I mean, I could calculate your total because I'm not an idiot, but like the computer won't let me.
Because it's just not the fucking way it works. If you don't want this shit, go eat somewhere else.
You know what? I got a meal at Dairy Queen when Brandon was in Canada because I didn't want to cook dinner for one person. I went to Dairy Queen and I got a flamethrower meal, and it was a small flamethrower. And you know that meal cost me $19.98.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Do you know our pizza buffet with wings and subs and a salad bar is $12.99?
That's
and
insane.
I don't have to quit eating, but when my bag's empty at DQ, I have to quit.
That's true. Yeah, you could be at your work all day long eating.
Exactly. Oh, well, actually, it's just 11 to 2 for lunch buffet and 5 to 8 for dinner buffet.
Well, so ample time though. Very,
Right.
very, very inclusive to people.
But if you would like to come have a conversation with me that's non-argumentative and aggressive, I am there from 10 to 2 every day, 10 to 3.
Perfect.
I cannot tell you that the night waiter will not give you attitude. So if you want to be happy, just come during the day.
And they can tell you all they want. They can argue with themselves about whatever.
You
'cause
can,
sure
and you
aren't
will
doing
leave there right. Let me tell you.
it. He's like, yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. No, I get it. That's definitely a book out of the customer service. I mean, that's all day long. It's just, yeah. I wish I could apply that more to my real life. I guess I can, right? It's my life. I can do whatever I
Right, you
want.
can do what you want with it.
Oh, gosh. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on and filling the spot for the week and having this
Yeah.
conversation with me.
It was
know-
interesting. I had to do research because I definitely did not have the information to go along with this topic in my brain.
I appreciate the heck of the fact that you did. I could have just talked at you forever, but no, you went above and beyond. I love that.
What's the point of having two people on if you just talk?
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't make it nearly as entertaining,
Right.
You're just like, oh, I haven't heard of that.
I should have just did what I told you online and just been silent so you could have talked and answered yourself and I just had a conversation.
the whole time.
I'm here, but I'm not.
I'm like, my psychic abilities are going off. I sense that there's a Cassie here with us.
Be like, are you still there? I'd be like, yeah.
Just pull away from the microphone with a little tiny. Yeah. Oh, okay, just making sure. Anyway, here's 20 other Claires.
Right.
But it's definitely been a lot of fun. People need to come check you out. Definitely come, if you haven't yet, come meet Cassie at the Mop Band Festival.
Yeah,
And
we'll
you do
be there.
you do a ton of other events and stuff too.
Yeah, usually I have paintings. I'm not bringing any paintings to this. I'll have 2 prints that we made specially for this and the Mothmans, and I'm going to take pictures of you with itsasherz, and yeah, that's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen. Well, where can people find your other stuff because you make tons of shit. Where can people follow you?
So Instagram, it's under Cassie's Land, and then Facebook, I think it's just under my name, Cassie Marozan. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can find me and spell that one right, good for you.
I'll share the Instagram, but I'm not going to share the Facebook just to give people a challenge.
Right?
Like it's their reward is finding you. I think I feel like this is inviting a stalker in somewhere.
Oh, you got to do it sometime in life. Might as well get it over with now.
I mean, right? You'd be the perfect person because you're not going to argue with them about it. You're just like, whatever. I guess you're following me now. It's fine.
Yeah. Come with me to my boring life. Will you help me paint this house?
Have some pizza buffet for $12.99.
Right. Hope you're not lactose.
Oh, you mean lie toast? Because they're all just liars.
Right.
very
Should we,
misleading.
before we get off here,
Yes.
do you want to, should we put out there on our socials, the prints that we will have so people know what they're getting?
I think we should. Yeah. I think
Because they're
that's not
both
a bad idea.
new styles of each one.
That's true.
I
That's
can
a
tell
good
you,
point.
Indrid is not a grinning man. He does not look scary in this. You will want to date him.
Yeah, you're going to be very horny looking at Indra. You might also be very horny looking at the Mothman too. It depends on what you're
might.
into.
If you like necromancy, this is all for you. Let me
Totally
tell you.
into it. Something for everybody with these prints.
Right.
But he has a very suave, sexy Indra. Yeah, I think that would be just fine. I think we should put it out there for people, and then they can see, what they can try before they buy.
Right. So whenever we get off here, I'll have that on there.
Post them up, and then we'll just share them around so everybody gets a chance to see them. That way you know what you're potentially missing out on when it comes time. So,
Yeah.
but either way, with that being said, guys, I will see you back here next Wednesday.